Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome back to day number 2 of the Thailand Super Series coverage from Bang Sen. It's going to be straight into the racing action here today. As you can see, our Super Ecos have already made their way out onto the grid, and the formation procedure for day number 2 of racing action is already in progress. And Goody's already down on the grid talking through a whole bunch of our drivers as they settle themselves down in for what is going to be another 12-lap race, as it always is. For our Super Eco competitors, the racing yesterday ended up in a 3-way stoush down for the race win, and Varanchit and that 89 machine came away with the race win, but it was so tight. The 33 and the 55 machine were right there for the race victory. There was just packs that formed based around how much fighting was going on, and Hayden Haikal lost some significant ground in the championship fight as well.
That he sure did, Scott. Thank you for being here with me this morning as we get a few things sorted and ready. Apologies for a bit of a delay. I'm actually producing this one as well for the morning action. Regular producer Jay Kennedy will be back with us for the second half of the show today as we watch Goody here down on the grid, getting things set up and ready to go. Well, chatting with the drivers, I should say, getting a feel for how our drivers are getting set and ready to race, and yeah, looking forward to it today. It's all racing from start to finish, and yeah, we'll see how that brings the action, because yeah, between the Ecos, the Compacts, the pickups here for the B-Quik Thailand Super Series, as well as the racing action in TCR Asia to come today, we've got ourselves, what's that, 5 races I think it is, and these guys continue to put on a great show from start to finish. And one of the things today that might be a bit of a headache for me is potential issues on the back end. 1 second, folks. I'll hopefully get Scott back with us in a sec. See if Mr. Scott Rankin can hear me once again, and I can in turn hear him.
One of the big things that we're going to see from this afternoon's racing action, you're right, the card is just a fractionally shorter here today, Dan. Qualifying for both TCR Asia and the Super Compacts was on yesterday morning. Don't have to do that one now. All the qualifying has been now run and done for the weekend, so straight into racing action as of today. And again, you know, tight field, tight battles. It's about that draft pack racing. The Super Ecos is always one of the most impressive categories that we see across the weekend.
Yeah, that it sure is, and that'll be one of the big things to watch out for here over the course of this one. So I look forward to seeing what the drivers can deliver for us in all the racing action we've got coming up here in the next couple of days. So yeah, that will be, I think, will be one of the cool things to watch out for as this all goes on. And yeah, look, honestly, it's good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Fingers crossed, should be a good one. And that will be what we look forward to the most, as we'll here continue to have a chat with a couple of drivers on the grid.
Slowly working his way back through the front end of our starting grid for race number 6 of this championship. There's only going to be 2 more races left to run, and it'll be a large gap now from now through until December. So we're looking at probably a bit more than a 3-month wait for these drivers to get back to their racing action for the final round right in the middle of December, which will be worth keeping an eye on deeper in that season as well. Your Thailand Supercar categories will have another round at Sepang in the middle of September between now and then, though, to keep ourselves looking forward to. And a reminder that that racing action is going to be interesting to watch as well. For the first time in a while, we're going to see as well, we're looking at Varanchit at the moment. This was the car that won the race yesterday. Slid his way through on the final lap as The other two competitors battled it out, squabbled, lost time, checked each other up, and effectively cost each other a shot at a race win as they fought for the scraps that were remaining.
Yeah, they did indeed. So that will be, as you said, valuable to watch out for as the racing goes on. Because, yeah, that could play a real big part in how things work out for the drivers here today. Let's see. Apologies for me. I'm a little flustered. I'm getting things set up in the background here. Just making sure we're good to go. Unfortunately, you can see we've got some issues with the video feed. I'm working off live a second. I'm trying to get that fixed up for you all, folks, and we'll hopefully be good to go with that one. And I'm being told the music's a little loud. Apologies for that. We can turn that down and drop that even further down, and that should hopefully get that out of the way as well.
I know, so the last of the shots probably coming our way from the grid. At this point in time, we'll be getting underway with the formation lap in just a few moments. One of the bigger factors is Hayden Heikel struggled for pace, I think, this weekend. When we saw him earlier on in the year, all the way back in May, he was right up towards the pointy end of the field, and that's why he was leading the championship at the end of racing after Bang Sen. Two reasonably consistent races from the Bang Sen Grand Prix allowed him to just put 22 points on the field, but with Varanchit winning the race yesterday, that margin would have been cut down to about probably in the realm of about 5 to 6 points. As it currently stands, 5 minutes now before we'll be rolling off from the starting grid as the teams will start to move their way away from the field. Super Choc we're looking at the moment. We're just looking at Hayden Heikel a moment ago. So Heikel from 7th place, the Malaysian driver. And Super Choc will be alongside of him in 8th spot on the grid. And you can see the eyes are already switched on. Adapon had contact again yesterday. Incredibly aggressive, the B-Quik racing team driver, and sometimes finds himself just pushing the margins a little bit too far. I think Adapon's got speed down, but the big factor for him is he's just got to put a race result together. He probably just takes it just a little bit too far sometimes.
Yeah, obviously, fingers crossed for someone like him there. It doesn't have that kind of an issue there as once again. Because that would obviously not be ideal, to put it mildly, in his case. And you see here a couple of drivers further down the field now that we're looking to get our eyes on for this one here. Yeah, Scott, if you walk us through the grid here and sort of talk about how drivers set the line up for this one here today, I'll keep on top of things.
Moving a little bit deeper in the field, we're actually got to Wing Hong Chow, who's out of 13th spot as it currently sits. We'll step one alongside of him to Achina Patra out of 14th spot, 7th row of the grid. Chase Chakras Parks will be the next driver as well that we get to. 3-minute warning now, as you will see the teams and everyone start to stream away from the field. The 41 machine, Chase Chakras Parks. Didn't have a great race yesterday in either of his outings for the Ferrari Driver Academy driver. Hakim bin Haikal will be off alongside of him in 16th spot. Jade will be off alongside of Sitnun on the 9th row of the grid for the number 12 driver. And we'll get back to the 99 of Sitnun that will be on row number 9, 18th spot on the grid before we go one row further back and round out our top 20 as well. Kitsafat was the driver who managed to qualify in 19th spot in the 16 machine, and rounding out our top 20 was the 44 car of Kachapan as well, who's got his focus firmly glued forward. You can see all eyes starting to move further down the field as well. We're under that 3-minute timer now as well. We're getting down to close to seeing the 1-minute board, and all the teams will be off the grid. Engines will be fired up, and you can see the activity in the background already starting to peel off towards pit lane. The 88 machine of Tanat Pong is off of 21st. Aniki bin Hafifi in the number 9 entry will be alongside of him. Already door closed, strapped in, and ready to go. .25 entry out of 23rd on the grid will be Puncher as the 1-minute warning now goes up. And he will be looking to make his way forward. Yop Bonchu will be out of 24th spot, 12th row of the grid. Of 28 cars, 29 cars, sorry, for this one. Farupat will be the 68 entry off of the 13th row of the grid, off alongside of Visit Pong. In the number 7 car, I think that might be the tail end of the field, as everyone being directed off to the side. We're under that 1 minute marker now. And that's back up with our pole sitter. Boonta V is going to be the driver to keep an eye on, as he will start from pole position. And all focus will form towards the front end of the field as well now for this one. As they're going to be rolling off for the warm-up lap here in just a few moments. Run down into number 1. So Super Eco is now rolling away from the starting grid and getting set for a race start. To all the fans who have joined us across the weekend once again, we've got our series regulars over in YouTube chat, as well as right around the world. Thailand Super Eco and the track map hasn't changed across the weekend. Sector number 1, your cyan. The mauve, I think, is the name of the colour for Sector 2, and the yellow to take us all the way down through Sector 3. Each with their very unique styles of corner, fast and flowing through Sector 1 without carrying speed. The Ventus RS4 for both our Super Eco and Super Pickup, 15-inch variety in action here for the Super Ecos, gives us the extreme semi-slick racing tyres, proudly provided by Hankook, our tyre sponsor. And we are going to be moments away from getting through this one. Boonta V from Patawee on the front row, Vongsapat and Thanapatra on row number 2. We'll throw it back to yesterday's race winner, Varanchit, alongside of Thanakorn. Hayden Haikal couldn't cut his way through the field the way he likes. Super Truck will be off alongside of him on row number 4. Adapon and Firinat going to round out the top 10 before we'll head back over to the 91 machine of Cavan, and Sorowich in the 61 just outside of the top 10 after qualifying. Wing Hom's 21 machine off alongside of Achina Patters, 66. Chase Chakras Parks will be in the 41 machine off alongside of Hakim Bin Haikal, 15th and 16th on the grid. Jade will be 17th in the 12 car from Sitnun in the 99. Kitsafat in the 16 car, and Kachapan round out your top 20. Tenat Bong and Aniki Bin Hafifi are your 2 cars just outside the 20. Pancho will be the first car on the 12th row of the grid. Furupat will be 25th, Visit Pong 26th. Panatsan and Rapid Corn going to round out your top 14 rows before we get back to our 29th and final starter, Alisa Kunkwang, who I believe actually run the Eco Class C category yesterday and is now in shot with potentially taking the championship in that class, but it was not an easy race for the C-Class drivers. Yesterday, the C-Class Plus drivers keep an eye for the orange numbers on the windshield, and of course the overall drivers will have their numbers in green to denote what categories all of our drivers are racing as a part of. Right, they're going to form themselves up on the front row, and you can already see it's the 56 machine of Boonta V probably a touch too far forward in that grid box, and making sure that he rolls back just to give him, don't want to pick himself up a jump start penalty. We did see that in the TCR race yesterday to finish off your Saturday evening coverage of the Thailand Super Series, supported by the TCR Asia category. 33 machine is going to be off the inside, so the outside of row number 2. The car's still feeding into the back end of the field as Alisa Kunkwang is the final driver to line up on the starting grid. They're still feeding in too, by the way. There's still a couple of rows off the back end of the grid as we try and get ourselves lined up for the first race started today. 12 racing laps, Thailand Super Ecos. Time to get steady and get ready for our first race of your Sunday coverage. 5 lights are on. We are getting set for a race start. Here we go. They're going to get a good launch and they'll jump in. Nice and early. Looking to try and grab early position. I believe the 33 machine's got a great stride as well as the 55 entry's going to slice down the inside and try and pick up a couple of spots. And at least the 56 is trying to manage to hang on to second spot. But in the meantime, it wasn't a great start. It is the 79 entry of Padawi who did get the best start. He will lead the field on the run down to turn number 3 for the first time today. The Kink at turn 2 covers all the way to the inside. Gold tires, they'll look to try and run alongside of him. An opportunity for Boontavi to pull alongside and go the long way around. And already have a look at Varanchit. Cuts his way through. Aiden Highcal makes contact. Varanchit's going to go around. Oh, heavy contact. And they'll be having a look at that one for sure. I can't believe it's kicked off this early with that amount of contact. Cal's been involved in that one. I think the 33 machine of Vongsapat and definitely Varanchit. Varanchit's going to go to the rear end of the field and there'll be no points on offer for the 89 machine today. And that's critical for Hayden Highcal and Varanchit's championship. Could there be a penalty waiting in the wings as well? Who knows? We're going to have to keep an eye on it as it all progresses. But for the meantime, keep your eyes towards the front end of the field as Boontavi's gone and got that race lead back once again. And they'll try and get themselves sorted out. Still not seeing Varanchit off the back end of the field. And we won't have him at the timing line 2 either, which will be the key factor. We'll have to wait a good while here to see if he does make it all the way through to the end of the second sector time. But in the meantime, the back part of the field starting to get themselves together and lining up. For the meantime, it is actually Thanapatra that did cut his way to the front end, and there's been more drama as well. The number 2 car has gone around, and he was sitting... Yop Bonshu, I thought, was a little bit higher in terms of the standings. Well, he's now being turned around and gone to the tail end of the field. And then they're going to fight for these spots. You can see Hayden Highcal really trying to make sure that he can hold up and keep himself on the inside. It was Highcal that jinked back to the left-hand side, trying to open the corner up, got into the side of the 33 machine and turned them both around. So Vongsapat now sits all the way down into 13th spot. And then this was a secondary incident down at turn 9 as well, which has also created major damage on the side of one of those cars. I think there was a 7 on the side of that one. It might have been Frupat in the 68 machine who's got some more damage, and indeed it was the 68 machine. I thought I saw a 7 on the side of that car, didn't. And now the run down here, Padawi held out high and wide by once again Hayden Highcal as they run down through turn 3. And unfortunately for Yot Bunshu, that might be the end of his race number 6 as well.
Well, just a bit of drama there, Scott, to get this one underway, and hopefully now, folks, we're a little more organised and ready to rock and roll as we watch the leaders work their way down towards turn 4. Plenty of side-by-side as well, no surprises there. That's still what we got happening here today. Thankfully, it seems to be behaving somewhat orderly as we watch them out of turn number 5, up through 6 and 7. Bit of a pack up there, in and around, I think it's probably 7th or 8th or so there. Single file elsewhere, though, at this stage is now they're for 3rd, for 5th, 6th even. It's plenty busy here out on track. Once again, these drivers, they see a green flag and immediately it's a no-holds-barred contest from start to finish. It's all around.
Oh, no. That'll be Adapon. He was sitting in about 6th spot, and that's, again, contact to the rear end of the car and the right rear tyre. No, that's facing the wrong direction. That'll be a retirement for Adapon as well.
Oh, that's a right shame there to see that. Damage, going to take that car out of contention. Going to be feeling that now as soon as he tries to limp it back to the pits. Meanwhile here, though, in this fight for in and around 4th or even, I think, 3rd place now with the 56 of Boontavi leading Tanner Korn for 4th. Padawi in behind for 5th. So another quick look at the replay here. So you're going to see the tag. Actually, oh, it's there. It's after, so he spun by himself, I think, and unfortunately, contact as that car spun, and drivers have come through past him, just collected him ever so slightly there.
Yeah, shame, unfortunately, for Adapon. He's had great race pace and cut his way through the field. And yet again, he's found himself in the middle of some drama. And he hasn't even been able to arrest that car and get it back to pit lane. He's just trying to find somewhere to park that car off the line. Again, locked brakes on the run into turn number 3. Hayden Haikal a little bit further forward today. Will challenge for the race lead. But it's this second battle with Boontavi and Danon Korn who are going to go at it for third spot. Whether or not they can start to run down the race leaders remains to be seen. It's going to be a three-way fight as Hakim bin Haikal starts to move his way forward.
Well, yep, certainly going to try. Well, up the inside there at turn 5, should have that one done. And yep, goes pushing it wide enough to get through turn 6 and clears that one with no big fuss. Danon Korn there, a bit of a rough lap as a result, because it's going to drop him back now towards... no, pardon me, he's going to try. He's actually got a better run through turn 7 to counter, but looking at the top 2 here in this race, Tanner Patra and Hayden Haikal racing for both the race and the outright class, or overall class. Leadership as turn 8 once again, or turn 9 gets into a bit of an argy-bargy. This time it's Padawee from the 79 who ends up around in the runoff. Thankfully this time we're okay.
Oh, it just continues to kick off. Absolutely all over the place. It's gone mental out there at the moment. And we'll get updated timings when they get back to the start-finish line, but there is so much adjustment going on in terms of all of these positions as everyone trying to make use of as much runoff area as they possibly can down at the final corner. And there is contact that's triggered this one as well. And I reckon that might be Firinat in the 45 entry that's got down in and underneath. It could also be Hakim bin Haikal in the 24 entry, potentially. Somebody in that sort of a range in between 5th and 7th who's made contact, unfortunately. But once again, it all kicks off, and it's going to be 3 wide on the run down to turn 1. Do they leave enough space this time? We've already seen a bunch of contact. Yes, they do. Do manage to get out and around the other side. And this is a little bit deeper in the field. And we were looking a little bit earlier on, as this will be for 17th through about 22nd, I believe, as these guys are all bottled up. Elisa Kung Kwang has tagged on the back end of this pack. And have a look at Varenchit as well. Driven his way off the back end of the pack here, down all the way back up to these guys. There's somebody in the background smoking quite heavily, and I don't think that was necessarily a lock break either. No, it's not, because it's continued out the other side. That's tyre rub for sure, or could be engine dramas.
Oh man, we haven't seen it too much in Thailand's Super Eco this weekend, but well, add that one to the cards of potential things to worry about if you're in this race, and not having an answer so far just yet is continuing to watch here. Our top 2, Tanner Patra, Hayden Haikal, trying to sort this one out between the two of them, although it's Tanner Patra who has about a car length or 2 in hand at the moment and is covering that one off. It seems as spin for the 88 machine further on down the pack does get it pointing the right way and back out without too much fuss, and the car looks to be straight, so that should hopefully not be an issue. But for the 59, one of our Class C competitors, unfortunately they're pulling off to the side of the road. That is going to be a race done by the looks of things.
That was the car that was smoking, so that's going to resolve that one nicely and get that off the racing surface and potentially won't cause any further dramas for everyone that's involved. Well, in the meantime, still a 2-way fight at the front end of the field. Thanapatra versus Hayden Haikal. And this has got championship implications. Very, very important, this race result as well. I think Thanapatra's got to try and take some points off where he potentially can. Finished inside the top 3 yesterday. But it did take some points away from Hayden Haikal, but not as many as he necessarily would have liked. And at the moment, if he can keep it over Hayden Haikal, and there's more dramas for Haikal as the race progresses, potentially think about track limits warnings, but Haikal's supreme later on in the race. Looks after the tyres very, very nicely and comes on strong in those last couple laps as well. Fastest lap of the race last time by for Vongsapat Katsiri, who sits in 5th spot with a 2:08.373. There's only one other 2:08 in the field. It was Visit Pong Charter all the way down in 12th place at the moment. Was 11th place potentially at the start-finish line. So he's got some serious pace at the moment. And I'm now starting to see some dramas for Elisa Kung Kwong as well in the 59 entry, although that was the car that ended up pulling off, I believe, as well.
Well, there you go. It's all kinds of crazy here. Speaking of a little bit crazy, Tanner Patra in a bit deeper turn 5 and will sacrifice the race lead. Hayden Heikel says, I'll have that one, thank you very much. And up the inside through 6 and 7 to be your new race leader. Here with 7.5 laps to go. Watch out for Boontavi and Tanner Korn. They seem to have, actually, pardon me, that's Boontavi and Vongsapat they're through. So change for 4th place. Since the lap started, and that's a car in the gravel, the number 16 machine. Running outside the top 20, and a car stop. Whoa, multiple cars. Issues here on lap 5 of the race, Scott. And now debris on the racing line. They're out of turn 7, approaching turn 8.
I get the feeling there might be a safety car of some description, and that's a car getting out of the way for...
No, that's for position.
That is for position. So these two have now dropped a fair bit of time back to Boontavi and Thanon Korn. They were starting to pull away just a little bit, but with all the squabbling that's gone on and how wide 56 was... This is Varanchit cutting his way through the field, and that's the 16 car off of the exit of turn 4. Does manage to get the brakes on, and that is deeply buried in terms of the gravel. I have a big concern if he can pull that car out of there.
Seems unlikely at this stage, yeah, so that's one to keep in mind, it seems. As we watch here, speaking of here, further back in the field with Vongsapat, your race winner from yesterday's opening event of the weekend, but back on for the actual race lead at the current moment. Tanner Patra to the inside of Hayden Heikel, turn 3. That could be important if a safety car is needed here in a second, Scott, because, well, then he gets to control the race restart. He will now hard cover the left-hand side of the road as we run out of the hairpin at turn 3 and slowly decide he can make his way across to take the preferred entry for turn 4 as they make their way up to this fast left sweeper, and Heikel is going to look, but he's not there.
Well, the interesting thing is the 16 car still hasn't registered in its timing line 2, the end of sector 2. So I'm wondering if he's still not trapped in the gravel. Would have been in the left-hand side of that shot. Won't get enough of an opportunity to have a look for him in the gravel. May have rescued that one. So still waiting to see if there's an update. Indeed, there he is. No, that's the 59 entry of Kun Kwong in the background down at the exit of turn 5. All the way out in the gravel. But Heikel no longer leads this one. Through comes Vongsapat as well. Had a phenomenal race yesterday. It was him and then a Patra who fought on the final lap for minor placings on the podium. And now the 56 entry of Boontavi. Might just be worthwhile just running with these guys and just seeing if Heikel and Thanapatra are going to fight just a little bit. Drive your way all the way back to them. Give yourself an opportunity to win a race. Never a bad shout either.
Never indeed is. How's this further on back here around Varanchit and this group of drivers here now 2 by 2 into turn 9. They all stack up, and impressively the 26 of Adapong is in amongst, so is that Pancho, the 25, my apologies, the second of the B-Quik Racing Team cars. Unfortunately for Pancho, not being as competitive as Adapong, but well, that was 2 by 2, quickly sorted itself out into a long snake of 6 cars, and still jostling and ducking and weaving, trying to find a gap to get themselves into here at the final turn before powering back out. And it might just become 7 cars there with, who's that on the back of the queue there? The 87 machine of Rapak Korn joining the party.
And Varanchit's starting to struggle, so that damage to the front end of that car might actually, that touch was pretty square on the front end, and Pancha had that 25 B-Quik car a little bit out of shape, trying to carry the momentum through turn 1, run down the straightaway on the run through turn 2, turn 3. This is back up with our race leaders as Heikel's starting to lose a little bit of ground, and Vongsapat's done a phenomenal job here to start to drive back up to these guys, by the way. And that's that 16 car trapped in the gravel just off the racing line. Out over on the side as well. 0.3 of a second faster than Hayden Heikel ahead of him in the first sector, and we'll come through the middle of turn 6, turn 7 as well here now. He's actually 0.7 of a second faster in the middle sector as well. So good time starting to be made from Vongsapat. He will join this race leading battle. Boontavi's just been issued a black and white flag for track limits warnings, who sits 4th. So now he's going to be careful, and there he goes out, and you know that'll be probably a 5-second penalty, you would assume, for that one.
Yeah, not good to see that from his perspective, that's for sure. He'll be a little disappointed that he's put himself in that situation. But still got half a race to go. Well, coming into the second half of the race now, shortly. As to how carefully you're going to have to manage that and not put yourself in trouble. As there's your top 5 all coming around the final turn. And you have to be careful there for a driver like, pardon me, timing's having a bit of a moment. Tanapatra, join list of drivers with a bit of an issue there, dropping back on the transponder for a moment there. As up towards turn 1, we'll go looking a little bit further on back here at this second pack there. Visit Pong to the inside of, I believe, that's there, the 91. That's it of Caveen, yes it is. And then in behind them, the 53 of Super Choc. And you've also got just in the back there, the 66 of Chinapatia. So there's a 2x2 formation down towards turn 3 they'll come, although, oh my goodness, a Chinapatia there looking for the outside of a car that was already up against the white line, Scott. Brave, to say the least, as it's on for the lead once again. This time, Hayden Haikal to the outside of Tanapatra already by turn 3. It's a drag race to turn 4.
Yeah, and it was Vongsapat that led a large amount of the race yesterday. Now he's had to drive back up here. They are going to go 3 wide as Vongsapat's going to send it down the inside on the run down to turn number 4. Gets the nose in there. That's just going to allow Hayden Haikal to get through there. Thanapatra's going to take to the runoff area and use all of that. That's just allowing Buntavi and Thenan Korn to start to make some time back on these guys. And again, nice and wide from the 55 driver. I reckon race control are probably going to pop up with a warning for him. If not, perhaps the black and white flag to say you've now exceeded your track limits warnings, because that was quite wild and quite well outside the track limit boundaries at that point in time. 79 is going to receive the update, which is Padawi, who sits down in 12th spot as it currently stands. And Vongsapat, interestingly enough, worthwhile mentioning, does lead the C+ class drivers in this race now. Will want to run away from Buntavi if he possibly can. But one thing we've learned about Hayden Haikal is that the elbows tend to be out very early on, and they were, and they've continued to be out right throughout the race. And update on the 55 entry, there is a black and white flag for track limits violations as well.
Yep, so for Vongsapat, he obviously has Tanapatra in between him and Buntavi, so that might be handy there. But you can see here, he wants the race lead, and Hayden Haikal will not give it to him, but he's going to be made to give it to him here on the run to turn 1, finally. Haikal swings outside, but it's a crossover, beautifully executed there through turn 1, gets it out there just in time to carry the speed through the first corner, and Vongsapat goes from first on the corner entry back to third. And now you've got Tanapatra right glued to the rear of Hayden Haikal, and indeed possibly just push him along, get clear of this, the aggression of Vongsapat there down the start-finish straight. Let him focus on his race that he has to have now with Buntavi for that class lead. As you pointed out, as Buntavi's gone to the inside at turn 3, might have that one done if he can hang it around the exit of the corner and run up towards turn 4 here.
Yeah, so looking to try and go the long way round the outside for Vongsapat, and has managed to hang on to that one as well. So job done, at least for the start of things. The 36th entry into the pit lane was Penatan out of 15th spot when he pit on that most recent lap. So was having a reasonable race. 4 laps left to run as the Super Ecos continue to get quite tight. It's going to become a 5-way stoush for the race lead because Super Eco, that's why.
Well, I'm not sure you have to say that it was going to be a stoush from the in the sense that it was like a stoush from the get-go. So, like, I think safe to say it's been a stoush from the very start. It continues, and in the mid-package, Chinapatia has come around. I missed the number of who else was stuck there on that one, but presumably from that is Super Choc in the 53. Does get that car refired, but now will fall quite a way down from being 10th at the start-finish line when we last caught up with them. Let's see if we can catch it coming into turn 5. Oh. Now, unfortunately, that angle there doesn't tell us who's gotten into who, but I'm going to guess the 66 might have been up the inside, given they're in front of the 53 after they've spun like that.
Yep, well, tough racing either way. So for Chinapatra and Super Choc, going to continue to try and get their race back underway. I'm just trying to keep an update a little bit on Varenchit because he's fallen off a little bit trying to cut his way through the pack. He sort of drove up to that pack very, very quickly and then stalled out. And yeah, he's now starting to not make so much ground as well. Three-way battle once again, though, down for the race lead.
Yes, indeed they do. Running up towards turn 3. Let's see, is there any moves this time? Not from Tanapatra. He again stays glued to the rear of Hayden Haikal. He does not want to give anything up here as, trouble for another one of our drivers who was contending early on in this race. The 36 machine, pardon me, we find them again here on timing to actually, where are they? Yeah, Panatan had a rough race and now it's parked up at the side of the road and done early.
Well, that's more bump drafting, so that's more pushing going on. Tanapatra clearly feels quite comfortable with pushing Hayden Haikal along, and it's certainly working for him at this point in time, as holding off the threats of Vongsapat a little bit longer. But Vongsapat does lurk. He's starting to make a little bit of time. Boontavi's now fallen off the back end of this, so I wonder whether or not him and Thanakorn have had a coming together as well somewhere within this lap. No, there they are in the background. They've squabbled a little bit and cost themselves some opportunity to be up here and fighting for the win. 3 laps left to run. That was at the start of the lap. It's less than 2.5 now as they run down to turn number 9. They'll flick back through 10. And there's so many messages because there's multiple incidents for race control to have a look at. Incident from lap 1 is going to be investigated after the race, so let that one hang over the head of Hayden Haikal as well, which will be very important. I think they'll be looking for some onboard footage out of some of these cars as well to help make that decision, which they'll only be able to collect after the race as it currently stands. And another car with significant damage. Is that the car potentially that was in the barriers at the exit of turn 8 earlier?
Strong possibility. It's Sora, which it was in the number 61. How's that there on the pit wall with 2 laps to go? All kinds of encouragement being issued the way of the drivers. As the next driver, they get a black and white flag there at the bottom of your screen. The 87, also the 88s apparently just had a black and white flag come through. Timing and scoring, which is just a warning though for the 88, not the full fat black and white like we've seen for other drivers. Your top 3, no one makes a move this time up the inside into the turn 3 hairpin. Tanapatra is going to try and cut back here, get the power on early. Kind of feel like he tried that, but the car just hasn't really been able to rotate through the corner and therefore stay right on the gearbox of Hayden Haikal. He will close up though as they power along this straight to turn 4.
Yeah, Tanapatra though, he's got a decision to make this time. Does he again look to use a little bit of supportive momentum to help him hang on to P2? The tricky part is, do you want to lead starting that final lap, or do you want to be sitting in P2? And Tanapatra at the moment is making it quite clear he wants to be the guy receiving a little bit of support from Hayden Haikal in terms of straight line speed. I don't know whether or not he's able to hang on to that one. Tanapatra now very wide through the entry to 6. This is just going to buy Hayden Haikal all the time that he needs. And Tanapatra was the driver compromised yesterday. And now he's gonna, sorry, it was Vongsapat who was the driver that was cost that race win yesterday. And again, they're just fighting these two. It was these two that came to blows out on track and cost themselves both a race win that Varenchit stole and drove away with. Varenchit now cuts his way back through to 15, so he's managed to make some time. One more time down the back straight to the final corner before they receive the last lap board. There will be one more lap out of this one. Hayden Haikal using all the track and a little bit more. Final lap for your Super Ecos, race number 6. There will be 2 more races to decide this championship in December, but who is going to lead the championship at the end of this round? Varenchit made so much ground back yesterday on Hayden Haikal. He's going to lose all of that ground as it currently stands today. The tyres, though, for Tanapatra starting to look a little bit secondhand. Can't quite make the apexes that he was before. And Hayden Haikal, uses that opportunity to streak away. Doesn't have to cover when they get down here to turn 3, and that's quite critical to getting this done. Tanapatra will have to cover because Vongsapat going to try and go the long way around down at turn 3. They'll both get it pitched in nicely. Vongsapat was a little bit deep at the entry. Narrow entry means a wider exit now for Tanapatra, and Vongsapat's a lot closer. Hayden Haikal, though, leads by a country mile as it currently stands, and he might just have this one done. Extremely strong when they get down to the 5, 6, 7 complex, and that will probably sign, seal, and deliver it. But P2, Dan, anyone's game.
You said that, Scott, but look at this here. They've caught up to him mighty close on the run to turn 4. And Vongsapat dives to the inside of Tanapatra, who left the door wide open after the defensive move from Hayden Haikal. Can we perhaps see the 33 get a last lap, or end the last lap charge on the 35 here to steal away the overall race win? And a couple of points would therefore close up from Hayden Haikal's potential takeaway. He certainly, Vongsapat is close enough here with a good run here through turn 9. Sets himself up, doesn't? He's Tanapatra too far back to attack. So Vongsapat's all eyes forward, and Tanapatra, front end's gone. Doesn't have the grip to go with him here. So therefore, there's zero need to look in the rearview mirror, and you can see Vongspat already getting close, trying to get in the mirrors of Hayden Haikal, forcing him there on the run to turn 12. We've seen a driver come from behind to win here certainly before. Can't get to the inside before the braking zone. Can he cross him up in the braking zone? He can't. Haikal trying to duck dip and weave to hold on to the position, and he will, by the skin of his teeth, take the win here today. Vongsapat will come home in second, and Tanapatra in third place. My word. And it means we haven't even seen any of this stuff happening here, such as Tannen Kaur and Boontavi and Hakim Haikal coming home there. 4th, 5th, and 6th, and so much side-by-side action there to come across the line. My word.
And it's still with there being a question mark over Hayden Haikal after that incident on lap 1. Whereby, remember, Vongsapat had huge amounts of contact. That car was not facing, it was pointing, about 45 degrees to the left on the run down to turn 3 on lap 1. Unfortunately, it was Varenchit that ended up facing in the wrong direction when all was said and done. And there will be some debate from the stewards over what will happen with that one, which I think there needs to be, it absolutely needs to be investigated and have a look at, which means that, unfortunately for your Super Eco race number 6, results will remain provisional. Hayden Haikal provisionally does cross the start-finish line in first.
And that he does. So, as you said, we'll have to leave that one up to the hands of those making decisions here this weekend to determine if that needs to be reviewed any further. But you can see here looking at the overall drivers, well, that's how they came across the line at the very least. There is a potential chance of that changing around. For our C-plus categories, obviously Vongsapat there racing up in the overall positions. Tannen Kaur and Boontavi will take C-plus podium positions here today as a result. And unfortunately, looks like just the one driver in Sitanun finishing in the Eco Class C. And for Elisa Kung-Wang retiring there with just 3 laps complete on the board for her. So unfortunately, bit of a rough day out for the 59. But there's your outright top 10. And a 2-minute 9.0, unfortunately, doesn't come home as the fast lap of the race. If it can be believed, Vongsapat gets here on a 2:08.3. Your fastest lap by any driver here in Thailand Super Eco during this 6th and final race of the weekend for them. And, well, that's just the opener to what comes up to the rest of the day. These guys always put on a great show. And, we've got ourselves next race starting in about 20 minutes' time with Thailand Super Compact to make it basically all of our hatchback action coming our way here to start the day. And we'll get to the big stuff after the lunch break, as it were, Scott.
Yeah, so race results will come through and that'll be investigated and looked at. What we can tell you is the finishing order for your Super Ecos. Hayden Haikal from Vongsapat, from Tanapatra as your podium. Tannen Kaur does come home in 4th, and I tell you what, was 0.06 of a second that decided the race win to 3rd spot. Glencorn, like I just said, home in 4th. Buntavi, Hakim, Bin Haikal, home in 6th. Firanat and Visit Pong, 7th and 8th. 9th and 10th would be Cabot and Padawee to round out your top 10. After all of that, Varan Chit finished 40 seconds off the race lead, down in 13th, but did drive his way back to 13th, responded with some speed late on to make a few overtakes and move his way up the order. Drivers, unfortunately, that did not see the end of the race. Chase Chakras Parks was 1 lap down. Sorowich Somai, 3 laps down. 4 laps down for Penalties, Kitsafat, Elisa Kunkwang, Frupat, Adapon, and Yop Bun Shu. All only the most laps completed was 4 from among that group. So most drivers not completing a whole bunch of laps. And you can see from Hayden and Ikal, they're just laughing along and really, really enjoying things. Vongsapat, even though those two made contact on the opening lap, just a shout out, really enjoying the racing from both of those guys, and celebrations all round, Dan.
Yeah, that it sure is. And pretty happy smiles on the drivers' faces there, it would seem. As a Goody going to chat with the drivers down on the in the podium positions. I just think I can actually hear a bit of Goody in the background. Not quite. It's a little bit quiet in the background, and don't think we'll be able to get anything as a result during this part of the show. So we'll have to leave that for now. But yeah, taking a bit of a chance just to sort of, try and compose ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, and get ready for thinking about the racing that will come later up. As I said, Thailand Super Compact, the next category coming here today. Get most of our hot hatch racing, it seems, all out of the way nice and early. And then we'll get to all of the madness, in many respects as it is, in the next little while. So yeah, that will be something to watch out for, folks. But I've now got the YouTube chat, or at least I've almost got the YouTube chat up on my end, so I'll be able to chat with you guys like I normally do. In saying that, things will be back to normal this afternoon, and I will be able to focus on talking and not handling all of the extra bits and bobs that makes a little live stream like this possible, since I've had to diversify and split our presence this morning for those of us here. But and also plenty of racing, of course. Not just here, of course, at the Chang International Circuit this weekend. Plenty of racing for myself here in Australia. Got, of course, GT World Challenge Australia racing, and they're in the various categories there. Had a chance to catch the start of the GT World Challenge Australia race yesterday afternoon whilst we were on the lunch break at the circuit here at Chung. So that actually worked out pretty well in that respect. Unfortunately, missed the back half of that race, but that's how it goes sometimes. That's some smiles there on Vongsapat Katsiri's face after a pretty successful race number 2, you would suggest. So, you're curious also here, because we had some great discussion there yesterday in chats about what people are watching along in terms of racing action in various parts around the world. It was cool to hear some of the ones like we had paying attention to what's happening with Super Formula and Super GT in Japan. Definitely something that I could probably do with paying more attention to in some respects. High performance category, also like the uniqueness of cars like Super GT 500, for example, pretty dang cool. But anyways, that's not all that necessary stuff that I guess I need to talk about. So and then looking things forward to what we've got coming up here with Thailand Super Compact. I guess our 60-minute race of the weekend coming up shortly, and that will have coming up in terms of the 60-minute race, compulsory pit stops, and all of the fun jazz there they'll have to worry about there. Just seeing here in the YouTube chat for TSS, did Hayden Heiko get demoted on the leaderboard after crossing line? We appear to have some issues with timing and scoring at a few of the sector markers, and the start-finish line being one of them, unfortunately. And so Hayden, he dropped as he crossed the line because it didn't seem to pick up his transponder, it seems, across the start-finish line, and it corrected once he came past turn 1 on the approach to the sector 1 timing mark. So unfortunately, it hasn't been officially adjusted, the result there, whether he's going to be penalised or not. So as it stands, everything staying the same there for the time being. So yeah, in other words, yeah, don't take that as basically a solid word just yet. As with that there, Goody wrapping up interviews here at the pardon me, not at the track, but down in the pit lane here from our provisional podium, outright podium of Thailand Super Compact. And see here, just looking to final words with Hayden Heikel to wrap up that chat there. And then we'll get ready for Thailand Super Compact. Pit exit has already been opened up for the drivers in that category, so teams have got a couple more minutes left to get ready before they'll get out to the grid so they can be set up and ready to go. But yeah, 19 cars on timing screen. Hopefully it will be looking to take the start of that race. We're waiting to see how those drivers are going to handle a 1 hour race, compulsory pit stops, driver changes. But of course, first of all, we have ourselves the B-Quik Thailand Super Series highlights from Thailand Super Compact. That will be the first thing to keep in mind here, of course. And the main thing here being, of course, our drivers keen to get racing once again. It's always a staple we get to see this series. The drivers are very much always looking forward to get out on the track by the looks of things. And they're not afraid to give us a wave, a smile, and some hand gestures as well to get things underway. So the start and the run to turn one, fairly straightforward. But you see here, this little moment for Hayden Heikel, Vongspak Siri, and Baron Shit there to get all of those two of those three cars massively out of shape. And for Baron Shit, big struggle for him to get that car sorted out. Spins up at turn 9 also, something that we saw a couple of times there today. Unfortunately, a couple of cars getting collected after spinning as well, which made things a bit rough for them. So, question mark indeed over Hayden Heikel there after that lap 1 incident. Still haven't had a confirmation of that one yet, but settled into second place pretty early on, and then worked to make sure that he could try and challenge for the race lead. And second incident up here at turn 9 with the 79 machine coming around and a little unstuck there, but thankfully no hit for him, so he was able to keep on going. That's a lovely shot we didn't get to see during the racing action there as they were fighting through the final corner. But of course, the run to turn 3 down this long main straight, as it were, and the second straight back up to turn 4, prime overtaking chances. Moment 88 machine, as well as you saw there in the background, a shot. Unfortunately, one of our Class C competitors having issues there. So a lock-up under brakes for Tanapatra there at turn 5, opens the door for Hayden Heikel to breeze on past into the race lead. This was just after the halfway mark, in a sense. Now to spin there at turn 4 for the number 16, and that car, as you can see, rapidly making its way to the gravel trap and didn't come out as a result. Fierce battling through the field from start to finish. You see here, almost 2 by 2 going into turn 9, and cars almost getting each other stuck up and stop on each other as well. Made for some exciting stuff. And then the recovery of Vongspak Siri to get his number 33 back to fighting for the outright lead was definitely impressive here. And on the final lap, well, pardon me, that wasn't the final lap because that was the first attempt. Then lost it back at turn 1 after an excellent crossover maneuver from Hayden Heikel, being pushed along by Tanapatra, almost like trying to get him clear of this number 33 Class C plus competitor who's in some respects not entirely racing these guys, although of course there is the outright points. That there was one of the late moves there as Heikel defended, and then into the final turn as well. All kinds of trying to fake each other out under brakes, but as they came across the line, Hayden Heikel would hang on to take the checkered flag ahead of Vongspak Siri and Tanapatra in third place. And that was the end of Thailand Super Compact. Well, with the racing action, pardon me, it was Super Eco that we just had there. My apologies, I'm getting ahead of myself. With Thailand Super Compact coming up in a couple of minutes, what we'll do here, folks, is take a very short break of a minute or two, and I'll catch my my breath, and then we'll be back for Thailand Super Compact's 6th race of the championship season. Stay with us here on the TSS YouTube feed, or with us on speedcafe.com on Facebook. Thank you very much for having us here. This is race number 6 of the Thailand Super Series categories here from the Chung International Circuit.
Hello and welcome back once again, ladies and gents. We are getting into our coverage now for the Super Compacts, which are going to give us 1 hour, which will take us through to lunch on our +1 lap. And remember, that was quite a crucial extra lap yesterday, because if it had been 1 or 2 laps more, we would have had an outright overtake on track for the race win. That's how short we were in terms of getting a battle for the race win out on track in the dying stages. But it's going to be a little bit different here today. Chaya, remember, had a failure, as did the 14 entry as well, with Thanaroj and Thanapatra behind the wheel. Unfortunately, that left front tyre going out. Oh, I'm still curious about what happened to the 92 entry. Some Super Compacts yesterday. What that did do, though, was open the door for the Thailand Toyota Gazoo Racing team outfit to take a first and a third, and really boost their points haul across the weekend. Norat Apavat home in third, but it was Nardol and Tenchinok in the car at the line, taking the race victory. This car was also relevant throughout the piece as well, Phupon and Phao Fong, but it was actually Mitchell and Mohammed Nakib, the 2 Malaysian drivers in the 38 entry. That was the other car that finished, split the 2 Toyota Gazoo Racing Team Thailand entries on the podium. Looks like it's a little bit of a cooler day, at least over in Thailand today, Dan. The heat haze not out in force yet, but I say that, and it's not quite 11 a.m. over there yet, so the sun is still on its way up, the heat is still rising, and umbrellas still out in force. And yet again, I see a set of 4 groove tyres available on one of those tyre trolleys there. Don't think they'll be as in use today as they were yesterday.
And yeah, and also the fact that you say not in use, we didn't even see them at all yesterday. Once again, the weather at the Chung International Circuit, not exactly in a situation where it seems it needed to be rolled out as well. So in many respects, pretty calm and orderly day once again. It's so far weather-wise. Look, I make no guarantees because clearly making any kind of promise as to the state of the weather situation here in at the Chung International Circuit is just fraught with danger, and therefore probably for the best to say nothing, expect everything. I think is the way to put that one here. As a Goody down trackside chatting with your pole sitter for race number 2, the number 24 Honda CRZ from next to Romai Rimna Motorsport and Baby Boss Garage. I'm just going to have Giropat starting the car and handing that one back to Tennant Dawn later on in this race. See how they can go today, because they're a little further up the order than they were starting yesterday. Remember, a couple of cars that, like especially I think in particular Chaya, front row start yesterday's race. Unfortunately, the car didn't end up going super well during the race, and has to start this one from 7th place, which could make a fair bit of a difference.
So about 230 kilometers away from the circuit at the moment, Dan, there actually has been some weather inside the last hour or so. But that was all way away to the northeast, and was trending southwest, or sort of swirling up and around the mountains. But the problem with that is it's swirling sort of in and around the mountains, and to the east. It looks like it's going to settle this afternoon. I'm not actually expecting that we'll get any rain coming across from the east. There's a bunch of rain actually at the moment down towards the Andaman Sea, which is on the west coast of Thailand, if you will, not within the Gulf of Thailand itself. But there has been a fair amount of rain in the area, so at least temperatures are down a little bit today, which will certainly help. A couple degrees down as it currently stands, and it's due to dip about 2:30 to 3 o'clock ish. I'll see a sharp dip in sort of the temperature this afternoon.
Well, that'd be a pleasant change from what we seem to get in terms of conditions on the regular, which is usually hot and humid. Which for someone like Goody in a full race suit, let alone our drivers and competitors who are wearing them and having to deal with being in a race car, which can get pretty hot, as we're inside 3 minutes from the start of the formation lap here for Thailand Super Compact. Now, final checks beginning here for all of our drivers. So, as I said, Jirapat, 24.33 will be starting alongside in second place, Pao Fong. And then it's this car here, Tanaroj and Tanapatra, who started strong yesterday, but ended up struggling towards the end. We've skipped past Norat already real quick, and to your race winners from yesterday, Tanchinok starting this car this time out, and we'll have to hand over to Nardol. Can they make it a second win this weekend in Thailand Super Compact? Be that with either Norat, Apivar, or the 23 pairing of Nardol and Tanchinok, because they came home first and third yesterday, Scott. Can they do slightly better and perhaps stick for a 1-2? They're going to have to come from 4th and 5th on the grid there to do it.
And the big key will be the success time added to the pit stop as well. JR looks like he's got that car back together and at least operational yet again. What the speed will look like, we'll find out. This car was quick in the dying stages of the race yesterday, finishing second on the podium. See if they can work their way a little bit further forward and see if Mitchell can contest potentially for a race win. They start out of 8th position for the Wing Hin Motorsports car. Number 88 of Yotsarun and Hitaharu for TC Garage with Kuroki. Going to be starting off of 9th position. And then we'll get back to 10th, which will be the 65 of Chen and Chicha in the Mugen Thailand Singer RPM car. Albeit, engines are being started. The 11th place car of Funapat Funsub for Sky Gallery Racing Team. In the 34 entry. I think we're only getting shots from the odd-numbered side of the grid. You can see the camera crew on the left-hand side of the field now being directed away. So that'll be the last of the shots that we will actually get from our starting grid. 19 cars in attendance. Kajonsak hopefully will have a car that will finish a race at some point in this season from Buriram. Because it's starting to become a tale from every single race for him in that Ford Fiesta of something failing on him, unfortunately. Yes,
you bring that up, and that's definitely been a rough run. And also, as I said, the number of times we've seen him have an issue that's had him to require him to pull off and retire basically on the run to turn 3 in particular. It's almost cruel how often that seems to happen. There's formation lap underway here for Thailand Super Compact. We'll see how the drivers need to get any warmth in their tyres or how they choose to go about it. As we'll look to see just how many starters we have for this one here today. Yep, there he is at the back of the grid. That lone Ford Fiesta, which sticks out amongst this majority Honda field, be it Honda CRZs, Honda Cities, a couple of Honda Jazzes, and then the 3 Toyotas, 2 from, of course, Toyota Gazoo Racing Thailand stables, the Wing Hin Motorsports, Toyota Yaris being the 3rd of those cars in the field here today, Scott. There's one more look at the Chang International Circuit we will do. We'll see it a couple more times today, of course, before the start of every race. But, I mean, look, it looks simple in some respects, but that's a deceptive simplicity, I have to say, around a place like this.
Yeah, it's the middle sector, fast and flowing. And turn 3 as well, double apex, really comes back on itself and narrows in about sort of from the 2/3 marker through the corner on. It's you sort of, with the GT3 cars, you see them chasing the apex down in. They'll actually enter quite narrow and then try and rotate the car, keep it on the curbing, and that's sort of how they make the speed. Pole position, Jirapat and Falfong will be off alongside of him in the 33 entry. Thenapatra and Norat. Thenapatra, again, the fastest car yesterday, looking to take a race win until failure took him away from that one. Norat will be off alongside of him. Tanchinok and Chen Yabut, yesterday's race winner, off alongside of Chen Yabut in the 95. Chaya had a failure late in the race alongside yesterday's 2nd place finisher, Muhammad Nakib in the 38 Wing Hin Motorsports entry. 9th and 10th on the grid are going to be Hitaharu in the 88 DC Garage with Kuroki and Chen and Chicha in the 10th place car, the 65 Mugen Thailand Singer. Funapat and Kidifan are going to be out of 11th and 12th. First cars outside of your top 10, 34 and 16 entries. Purapet and Manuel Rafael Caceres will be 13th and 14th. Alif in the 29 entry will be off alongside of Ayrton's 69 entry out of 15th and 16th. 17th and 18th, your second last row of the grid is going to be the 59 car driven by, I believe, Chotnil behind the wheel of that one to start. No, my apologies. That'll be Anawat, and it'll be Kajon Sakoff alongside of him. The Jet Boy livery car and Thanawit will be starting from the rear of the field in the 15 car for Inamitsu Racing Team Thailand. And that is the starting grid of 19 cars, but I did see that there was a hole in the starting grid somewhere, and I believe it was on the right-hand side of the road, which should be one of the odd-numbered cars as well.
Yes,
sorry, driver's left, our right.
Oh, okay, have to keep an eye on that one there. Indeed. As make their way around towards the last couple of turns. And they've received the 2x2 instructions to form up on the grid here. So, time to see who can get the jump here in this second and final race for Thailand Super Compact this weekend. They head towards that last turn here and get ready to go racing. So we might just switch feeds there. Apologies, folks. They'll make their way down towards the final turn here to get ready to go once again.
Righto, run down to the final corner. They're getting set now for the race start. And off the front row, the 24 and the 33, the lights will start to come on. We will get ourselves a race start in just a few moments. 5 lights are on, they're off. And it's going to be Jirapat who's going to lead us away from the inside of row number 1. Is going to get a reasonable launch from the 33 entry, and we're going to be 3 wide. It's the Toyota Gazoo Racing Team Thailand entry of Norat, who just sweeps around the outside and takes your race lead as they run off of turn number 1. Have a look at Mohammed Nakib trying to go 4 wide, 5 wide-ish as he races for a little bit of room on the opening lap. Now all the way to the right-hand side of the road for the drivers. Falfong trying to feed back down and see if he can't pick up another couple of spots on the run into turn number 3 as well. They'll all feed out here as they get down into turn 3, line themselves up. Around the long way goes Jirapat, trying to hang on to second spot in the race and see if they can maintain that margin. It's Norat looks to have taken early on in this one.
Check off the box the first couple of corners of this race, but here you go, up towards turn 4, and Jirapat's going to go back through to the race lead here, through that first of our left-hand sweepers here, into turn 5, and Norat's going to get across in time. It's come off as from the outside, the 38, Mohammed Akey behind the wheel, of course, starting the Wing He Motorsports car. He ended up coming along from a long way back, starting this race in 8th. He now plummets down the order, having to go off wide into the marbles to gather that car up after nearly spinning around there through the exit of turn 5 and 6.
Well, the good news is he did pick that car back up, and it's going to slot back down the inside, pick up 2 spots immediately. So he recognizes he's going to have to get aggressive. In the replay here, trying to go the long way around the 33 entry. Does he turn in a touch too soon? There is contact there. He wasn't quite clear, and I think he thought he might have been. I think he thought he was in there late enough that he'd be able to turn away, take the apex away, and be all right. But there was definitely still over that there from the 33, a difficult part of the racetrack. And the Lex D Badminton 27 entry of Purapet, unfortunately, already in the gravel, and reasonably in the gravel as well. We're going to have to keep an eye on that one. That may trigger the first safety car of the day. And we do have an update after yesterday's racing action. Safety cars from now on. He's lost that one on his own by the look of that. Safety cars from now on in the lap distance races will now be going time certain for the rest of the weekend. So that was the update after the Super Pickups yesterday.
Well, that is indeed an important note to make there as you watch them racing down towards turn number 3. Chayam Wangnam, 7th place start. I said it was going to be a bit of effort, but up to 3rd at the end of that lap, and now coming around turn 3, he's up into 2nd as he clears Nora Apavat. But let's watch out here. Toyota Gazoo Racing Thailand cars were strong in a straight line yesterday, but that's turn 4. Chaya looks pretty good in a straight line too. He holds on to the 2nd place as they make the run to this sweeping left-hand turn.
An interesting one to keep an eye on for Mohammed Nakib is how much time he can start to take back and start to move his way forwards. Was reasonably quick in the first sector. He's in around behind Hitaharu in the 88 entry at the moment for 10th and 11th on the road. So potentially might be able to find himself a few more spots on this lap if he potentially can. Top 6 cars still under a blanket. There they are, 3 wide in the background, because again, Mohammed Nakib trying to make some time up. Gets down to the inside. He's going to pick off the second of the 2 Zoo Racing Team Thailand entries, which is the 23 car falling through the field at the moment for Tensionok. Quick late in the race yesterday, early on in the race, some of these cars might have saved an extra set of tyres to start the race with a little bit of pace, but Mohammed Nakib picks off another 2 cars there on this lap as it currently stands. So I'm going to get the feeling from Mohammed Nakib. We will wait to see the update when he gets back to the start-finish line, but the 23 car cutting all the way to the right-hand side of driver's right of the road, trying to pick off some spots, and Nakib again down the inside of the 69 entry of Ayrton. That'll definitely find himself a place inside the top 10, and they'll come across the start-finish line now. The 38 machines all the way back up to 8, so I think he gained 3 spots on that lap.
That was a solid lap indeed in terms of positions gained versus positions lost, although challenge from Ayrton through turn 1, but Mohammed Nakib will just power around the outside. I think he barely kept within track limits. Might have been touch and go there as to whether he got that one done. Meanwhile, fight for 3rd place now. Pao Fong to the inside of Nora Apavant, and will take the place away from that number 25 Toyota Yaris. So yes, the question is that what he can afford at this point in the race? Take it slow, a little steadier. Got the YK Motorsports CRZs lined up behind him. Chanya Boot head of Tanapatra, 95 leads 14. Matt Underwood's turn number 4. So far, so good as they head up towards this double left sweeper.
Oh, big moment though for Chaya. Manages to grab that one back up down at turn 4. Didn't represent an opportunity for Norat to slow back down the inside. And smoke again. No, that'll be... Sorry, my apologies. It might have been Pao Fong that was having the issue, but that looks nearly an identical issue for Chaya to what he was having yesterday. Unless that's an engine drama, there's a lot more smoke. And the smoke yesterday... No, look at the left front suspension. That's really down low, but it's coming from the exhaust pipes. That's an engine drama different to what happened yesterday then.
Yeah, it's just unloaded on the 92 on the exit of turn 5, and now something's gotten into that exhaust flow as they try and he tries to get around. Surely going to have to run that one straight back to the pit lane, unfortunately for him, and that will be the end of his hopes of a competitive result here today, you would think, as we watch here this pack round. No, she's going to stay out on track there. Just saw him flash in the very bottom of your feed here as they make their way past the start finish straight once again. So not going to be bothered by that just yet, as an issue for the 59 machine at the final turn by the looks of things. Chotham and Anawat, be Anawat behind the wheel, I believe, in that car going off the road, it seems.
Well, how long can that 92 machine hang on will be the next question that we're sort of asking ourselves. And will the problem resolve itself? Although it's blowing a lot less smoke now, Dan, so I'm wondering for Chaya whether that might not have resolved itself. Whatever the issue was, either that or whatever the oil was that was getting through the seal is no longer available. So doesn't seem to be suffering too much at the moment. Might have been some guard rub somewhere. Oh, you just hope no. Look at the cloud of smoke. It might be the right rear tire this time. Could be anything. Literally could be anything at this point in time until we see a little bit more of that one. But Pao Fong starts to close on up. And unfortunately for Tanapatra, can't make all that much ground at the moment. Teammate Chenya Boot on the road directly in front of him. They're both running relatively similar lap times. As it currently stands, 55.861 on the most recent lap for Durapat was the fastest lap. It was about 3 seconds faster than everyone else. So he is absolutely running for the hills at this point in time, really trying to turn up the wick and run away. Although it could be oil on the surface being laid down by Chaya, potentially holding this group up. And you can just see the 24 machine disappearing into the sunset up ahead as they run down. Love that shot on the run down to turn number 1. And the whole field. Look at Mohammed Nakib. Look at Mohammed Nakib driving his way back through the field. He's already all the way back up to 7th spot. And I tell you what, he did take another 7/10 of the car ahead of him. It's going to be a couple laps before he catches onto the back end. But it's Thanapatra's the next car on track. And if he can catch Thanapatra and start to make some time there, that will set that car up reasonably nicely for a result at the end of the day as well.
Yeah, watch out for that 100%. Because if can make the gains there, that will be brilliant situation for him indeed. So mindful as we're watching the Toyota Gazoo Racing Thailand, your race-winning car from yesterday with the 23 of Tanchinok behind the wheel at the moment. Unfortunately for them, they've dropped back quite a way since the start of this one. And it's easy because you saw Tanchinok had the ability, got given a car in the lead of the race once the 14 had their tyre issue, which saw them have to come into the pits a second time. Tanchinok had the pace to run at the front. It seems that in these conditions this morning, this morning in Thailand, I should say, not quite the same, unfortunately, it seems.
Yeah. A little bit cooler than it was yesterday, but you can start to see the heat haze is just starting to build as well. More cars running out on track will be putting some extra energy into the surface. The 59 entry of Anawat now into the pit lane. The next to Ramai Rimna Motorsports entry. They've not had a successful weekend. They've had quite a number of failures, which is not going to feed a whole bunch of confidence, because this is an overtake for the race lead. No, it's not an overtake for the race lead, and that will be a pit lane entry penalty for the 24 machine. I was just about to say the sister car has just come into the pit lane, was the 59 entry. Well, your race leader is the other one of the next to Rama Rimna Motorsports entries, and he's in the pit lane as well. So they've both had a drama. Is this a tyre?
Well, let's see. Looking in the right front corner best he can. Although with that wheel spinning, is that what they want? Or they need him to need to stop the car there so they can have a proper look at it there. Although some question marks in. Actually, no, having a proper look at that, but also going under the hood as well, it seems. So possibly a couple of things here they're not quite sure on what it is.
Either way, was leading the race and was running away and was looking exceptionally comfortable. We're going to have a look at the engine oil for a little bit of colour, perhaps, and levels. So get over the back and do some deep diving into the engine bay, unfortunately. You're leading the race and that sort of happens. Chayar now leads the race, but remember we're going to stick a little bit of a question mark over that car. And yeah, just sort of try to keep an eye on Chayar, because 2 DNFs across the weekend would just be disastrous. The problem is it blew smoke very, very early on, and it's going to have to do another sort of 50-ish minutes after seeing first signs of issues for that car. The 95 entry doing quite well at the moment, cuts its way through for Budamont and Chenyabut. Chenyabut behind the wheel into 4th spot, and the second of those entries as well. And was that Mohammed Nakib that's already caught that pack?
I think it might have been. Unfortunately, as you were talking, I looked down for half a second. Yes, I can see on my backup feed that, yep, that was definitely, it's Mohammed Nakib. It's called the 1K Motorsports cars. But eyes here for a moment on the 34 machine and the number 4. They've actually changed places on this lap. Punapat Punsub ahead of Kajon Saknas on Clare. They were the other way around at the start of the lap that they're currently on. But 12 minutes down, 48 to go. Looking to see how these drivers go, because they're currently in a bit of a world of their own, 10th and 11th at the moment, as the 24 car, confirmed as going down in the pits. In the background there, this is the fight for the race lead now. Chayam Wangnam actually in the race lead, but in second place of Falfong trying to chase him down. It's the battles behind we want to have a look at here, as there you go in the background. The 38 of Mohammed Nakib has got past Tenapatra, split the 1K Motorsports Honda CRZs down the middle. Looking to continue to charge his way forward here in the first part of this race.
I think the interesting thing, Dan, is realistically, look at the lap time he ran the most recent time past as well. 56.957. He was a second a lap faster than the next 2 cars on the road. So he is going to make a whole boatload of time as the 95 entry starts to catch Norat Apavat's 25 entry. The Toyota Gazoo Racing Team Thailand car leading the way for the Yaris. But Chenyabut's really starting to apply the pressure, so he's starting to close up now as perhaps the tyres from Norat start to fall off just a little bit, and Mohammed Nakib really making some time. I think that might be Ayrton, who's just closed in the 69 entry onto the rear bumper now of Thanapatra as well. So there's a bunch of cars starting to make pace in this second phase of the tyre.
Yep, and also I guess second phase of this, well, we're coming up on 1/4 distance complete, so And yeah, about 10 minutes, not too far away from being 11 minutes away from the pit window opening. As there we go down towards the final corner. Chanya Boot will have a look at Noah Apavat as we focus in on Mohammed Nakib, and he's ended up on the outside. Or did he get it up the inside so deep that he cleared him there on the run towards turn number 1 there? Check that box off.
Yeah, so back down through the final corner, he's really starting to close. Really starting to close on both of these guys. And position made for Chenya Boot, but now he's going to have to defend on the run out of turn number 1. Noah Rat now in a little bit of a precarious situation. Mohammed Nakib, what can he do from this position now? Because he sits back inside the top 5. It could become the top 4 before the end of this lap. And have a look at the straight line speed now of Noah Rat. He's going to come back and have another crack at Chenya Boot. As Chenya Boot's also going to go ahead and get himself his first track limits warning for the hour-long race. And Nakib supreme on the brakes right out and around the outside. See if he can hang it all the way around. He cannot. But if he can keep that pace and he can keep applying the pressure, there will be an opportunity, and he is staying with these guys a little bit better than he was potentially yesterday. But that straight line speed of Noah Rat right out and around the outside. See if he can pull that car up. Not quite, but Mohammed Nakib gets down the inside from a very long way back. Will pull it up down the inside and will get the job done. So he's now up in a 4th and just about wrapping out. A little bit of a reply for 3rd spot now as Chenya Boot's going to come under a little bit of pressure from Mohammed Nakib, who also, by the way, worthwhile noting, has not just picked up a warning, has now picked up a black and white flag for track limits issues. So that will be the final warning that'll be allowed for the 38 entries. He slides down the inside at turn 9, doesn't make contact, but might get the move done, Dan.
Yeah, it tries, but outside of 10 is going to be a little scrappy to get it done, and indeed loses the side, the space alongside. Will have to now get back there again, but got Nora out with a run towards turn 12 here. Threatening the inside is the Tour de Gazoo Racing number 25, and does almost get there. Actually will get there on exit as he gets to the power a little earlier. And a drag race down the start-finish straight for this 4th position, and at the line gets ahead of the Wing Hin Racers 38 once again. And this great little scrap, 3rd on back here. Top 2 just a little bit further down the road. These guys are still only about 4.7 seconds off the race lead. So if they're not too impatient, they'll be able to stay and keep those top 2 there in the background in sight and in contention for this race lead.
I think one of the issues as well, Dan, is when you're known for using a little bit of the extra track areas, stewards tend to watch you a little bit closer, and Mohammed Nakib, known for it. It's not the first time he's been up against the track limits violations warnings, and I don't think it'll be the last time he'll be keeping the stewards busy either, which is his preferred style of going racing. Chenya Boot did get reasonable run off of turn 3, and now we'll try and close the margin up. Then a Patra is coming back towards these guys as well, and I think Ayrton's actually managed to slide down the inside of him, and once again Mohammed Nakib will slide back down the inside down at turn 5, so he'll manage to pick back up the 5th spot that he started the lap in. Sorry, we'll be back to 4th because it was Norat that started the lap in 4th, so 1 spot gain once again. If he can get this job done on Chenya Boot, he does look the quicker of the cars in this pack yet again, so there will be an opportunity for him to pull away, but I think he's got to have the opportunity done probably by about now, and then use the better braking performance it seems that he has down and speed through 9, 10, and 11 to build a margin as Noah Rat runs wide.
And in addition to Noah Rat having a bit of a moment there, Chenya Boot through turn 9, the car a bit of a tyre smoke as single file for 3rd, but Ayrton to the inside of Noah Rat will take 5th place away in the final turn. And reshuffle this pack once more as they work their way across the line. Still 42 minutes left in this race and about another 7 minutes until drivers could think about coming into the pits, but get the feeling with the way these guys are all racing, they're probably going to want to stay in as long as they can and make the most of their time in the car.
I suppose one of the things it'll depend upon is, do you have another set of tyres? If not, well, you might just be better off leaving these guys in, but if you've got a fresh set of tyres waiting for you and this is a scrub set, well, that'll certainly skew a few guys to jump into the pits a little bit earlier. Norat loses another spot now. So Ayrton's made up a fair bit of ground, slots up into 5th spot, and Thanapatra finally gets that job done as well. Going to reply though, won't necessarily be done for now. Norat pulls back up alongside. I'm interested to keep an eye on Mohammed Nakib because I think this is going to be his best opportunity to try and get 3rd spot away and pull away. Still manages to hang on to that one, does Thanapatra. And yep, Mohammed Nakib down at turn 5, slides it down the inside, looking to get a little bit aggressive. The big key is, I'm not seeing any car rotated. They'll all got through there. Down through turn 6. Mohammed Nakib doesn't quite clear. There is still a little bit of a gap. And again, for the 2nd time in this race, Mohammed Nakib gets contacted. Somehow manages to arrest that car. For the 2nd time today, he's had contact and he's come away with it.
Man, Ayrton, one of the luckiest ones in that bunch to not get tagged. And for Mohammed Nakib, that also means he'll lose only about 2 or 3 seconds, plus whatever that's done to the tyres in the process of catching that one on the 90 degrees, almost completely perpendicular to the path of the race. Here comes a Reaper in there, solid tag to the right rear corner, fully out sideways, and then we'll watch for this angle here, because again, it's the tag's bad. And then for Ayrton here, that car fires across the road. Oh man! Front right to left rear was so very close to taking out secondary contact, but we've avoided it by the skin of our teeth, it seems.
Missed him by millimetres, my word. And it's not over and done with for the race lead. We just haven't been looking at this one for a fair while. Fao Fang's doing a phenomenal job to maintain speed with Chaya, and nearly as if it's a replay of yesterday, race control have once again come out and said drivers to please respect. So sorry, again, it's must respect track limits. We've given up on the please respect track limits. It's now must respect track limits because those are going to turn themselves into penalties very, very quickly, and that's a fair bit earlier. About this time, actually, might have been about this time throughout the race yesterday, Dan.
Yeah, this seems about right with 1/3 race distance, and race control needing to remind drivers that there are rules they have to follow. And they can't just use all of the flat asphalt runoff freely as they so choose.
Are they rules, Dan? Or are they more like guidelines?
Well, the thing is that they do get enforced, so that would imply they are rules. As Mohammed Nakib has already cleared Noran Apavar and now trying to get past Thanapatra once more. The Wing Here Motorsports car, it seems to be sort of a, well, I can't be first, but I'll keep coming, and I'll just, every time you knock me back, I'll keep on coming. And charging back forward. It's as if there is some absolutely bonkers... The only thing you'd be worried about is, unless they have a set of tyres to spare and they can afford to change them in the stop, and do it within the stop time, it doesn't hurt them in terms of that. The main thing that I'd be concerned about is burning up the tyres to the point of having nothing left when you get to the last lap. 57.6. It's about 6/10 faster than some cars. It's nearly a second faster than others in amongst this almost leading pack. As there you go, it's also on for 3rd. No, Edson gets back in behind Chanyabut after turn 1, so no change there right this second. But hard charging, and all of this, just quietly, you know, I said earlier on, Tanchinok had a bit of a rough start. Well, she's made her way back to 8th place, and she's only 3 seconds behind this horde at the start-finish line. If they scrap, and she can keep putting in some solid laps, watch out for the 23 to be in a position where someone like Nardole gets in for the second half of the race. He can then also keep working that car back forward, as that car has pace too.
Yep, start-finish line was 3 seconds that Tanchinok was behind this little battle pack, and Mohammed Nakib finally gets an opportunity to take a little bit of a regular racing line entry down and into turn 5 because he's not setting up an overtake on this lap, and he's really caught up to Ayrton now. Ayrton's basically in a position where he's got to go for the attack or else he is going to be attacked. Not quite close enough down at the turn-in point to turn 8, looking to try and carry the momentum through the middle of the corner. And then it's the braking zone down here at turn 9. Once again, a wide, very wide line entry from Chenyabut. Trying to carry that entry momentum, swing the car back in late, point and shoot. And he's just hanging on to the spot, but they're getting closer and closer every single lap. It's only going to be another lap or so. Mohammed Akib's going to absolutely send this thing from outer space here in just a few moments. You just wonder how long it's going to take. Ayrton says, yep, look, going to take the advice and get on the front foot. Mohammed Akib is going to swing it back across.
Can't get there, though, out of turn 12. That tight line just can't dig the car out of the power, as we've also now got some lap traffic incoming on the inside of the run to turn 3. So it's a 5-car snake, nose to tail, to tail, to tail, to tail, as no one gets out of line until we approach the corner itself. And a bit of looking around here. And it's going to actually be the YK Motorsports cars that try and box Mohammed Akib out there through the hairpin. Although the Wing Hing Motorsports car able to power out on the inside earlier there and get ahead and stay where he was at the start of the lap. Make the run up towards turn 4 once again.
So that one will be opening before we get to the tail end of this lap. Chaya, Falfong, how long are they going to stay out? Will they put their co-drivers in nice and early? Is there a fresh set of tyres waiting for them in the pit lane? Is it potentially just a change of fronts, change of rears? Pit window now opens. So the strategy games are about to commence. And there are a few drivers in this pack that might just want to get out.
Hello there. Ayrton drops from being right at the pointy end of this battle pack to the back of it as Mohammed Akib past Tanapatra once again. Now to chase after Chenyabut if he can. And they run down towards the pit entry. Did anyone take to the pits here right at the start of this pit cycle? Norarat looking to the inside of Tanapatra as your race leader Chaya Muangnam will be the first car into the pit lane actually. So that is an early decision from those guys to immediately get to work on that car. And maybe also a case if they're going to have a look. And yeah, there you go. It looks like they're going for under the bonnet. Although going up on the jack as well, that's never usually a good sign, as the Wing Hing Motorsports car is going to come into the pits as well. So that's 2 cars from the very front of the field so far. We've seen make it 3 as Tanchinok will hand over to Nardol in the Toyota Gazoo Racing Thailand number 23.
Yep, so that's going to solve that one. Kajonsak from deeper in the field as well. Also going to dive into the lane. He's actually done a phenomenal job this race, driven his way through, I think, to about 10th or so out there. Well, that was one of the cars he had to pass along the way, was the 34 entry. So many cars diving into the lane early in this stint. Then a Patra will get out. And we'll now hand over to Thanaroj for the 14 entry. 16 entry. Looking to grab some fluids for Kiatafan. No co-driver available to that car either, so no driver swap. Extra little bit of time to get some fluids down. The 15 entry is going to be Sitavi will hand over to Thanawat. And so that car's pit stop for Idemitsu Racing Team Thailand. Nice leisurely pit stop. Out you get. In you go. And I think the big key is that with the difference in size of the drivers, there had to be, I don't know if that was a full seat swap or just a, just an insert that was going in. It nearly, oh sorry, coming. It would have been coming out with the size of the 2 drivers.
Goes off the pit lanes. Chaya out there. Looks to be our first car out based on pits. Well, yeah, 1 minute 36 is basically right on the money for a solo driver stop. As thing is for Mohammed Akib, not the first car out. In fact, look at that there for Nardol, and as he comes out of the pits behind Kajonsak, thanks to the extra 1 minute 50 entry to exit time in the pits because of the wind adding 15 seconds to their stop time today. So that's going to hurt them now, but I guess get the stop done early. You give yourself as much time as you can to now go and hunt down the deficit that you've been given.
Yep, time to put the head down and go if you can. 29 entries now going to feed into the pit lane. This was the lapped car of Sif Shorky. Will make his way into the pit lane, grab some fluids and top up for the remainder of the race. Nearly at the halfway mark, minute 30 seconds or so shy of that one. Don't forget, 60 minutes plus 1 lap. So when the timer hits 0, there'll be 1 more lap the next time the cars cross the start-finish line after that point. Not they're trying to finish 60 minutes on the dot. No, it'll be 60 minutes plus 1 lap.
Yeah, do not forget that as an important note there. It's not about hitting the lap where time would hit 0. It's about getting to the lap where... well, getting to the lap after the timer hits 0 and then doing that one there. Just focusing here on the Idemitsu Racing Team Thailand by AP entry here at the number 15 of Tanawit and Sitavi. One of, well, actually the majority of the field is already pitted. We're not even halfway into the pit window. It's actually quite interesting to see here that in fact, there's just 2 cars left to get a compulsory stop done in this race. As see there on screen, the 27 of Pirapet coming in now as the 95 of Shanya Boot in, followed by Noah Rat. And according to timing, they've also followed in Power Fog in the 33. So it just leaves us with a couple of cars from a little further back in the order, who I think, by the looks of things, have decided to carry on at this stage.
Yeah, so we racing laps led now for Hitaharu, which is a big key. He'll actually be the only car to continue on. I think in the background, Chenan Chicha, we're going to see him probably enter the pit lane in the 65 machine in just a few moments, trying to feed some extra air inside the car for Noah Rat in the 25 entry. So there'll be just the one car to get their pit stop out of the way, and just keeping an eye on those pit lane times. There is one car who's only done a 1 minute 29 in terms of pit stop, so I would expect this. There was actually 2, but one of them's in the lane at the moment, so I would expect we'll probably get a message from race control in just a few moments. There's the 65 entry, also entering the lane, Chenachicha, to take their pit stop as well. So Hitaharu is going to lead a couple laps here in the 88 machine, Honda CRZ. Never a bad thing, Dan. There's always a few people that try and stay out a little bit longer in pit cycles. Just say, hey, I'll let a lap.
I mean, yeah, 100%. Get some time in clean air, run around for a bit. Maybe a chance to, find a couple of tenths in clean air, or the car maybe appreciates running in clean air a bit. And speaking of which, there is your race leading car on the grounds that it hasn't pit yet, as we check back in with Norat. Apavat coming out of the pits behind one of the YK Motorsports entries. Again, we'll have to wait for timing to update, but critically just ahead of Mitchell, having given he's now taken charge of the Wing King Motorsports 38. So that'll be going off position, I think, there. As the 65 exits the pit lane there. And timing says for the 65, 1 minute 29 from pit entry to pit exit. As oh no, this car's already been in the pits once. Second pit stop for Achita Fon and Ayrton, and it's not looking too comfortable under the engine in the engine bay there, Scott.
And the smoke's generally. There was no damage on that car just a few moments ago. So I'm wondering where maybe that's come from. There'll be a few questions asked about that one. Either way, it is there. Could have been there from lap number 1. We just haven't seen a shot of that car front on yet, but looks like it's on the front right-hand corner, so it doesn't look too massively impacted, but this is your race leader at this point in time. I'm showing on my timing screen, so it looks like Thorpon is going to be P2. Chaya, after the issues yesterday, will sit P3. So those two cars are flipped around, and there's the 5-second difference between those two in terms of their pit stop times as well. So it was quite a long stop for Chayar, but they've been flipped around, and Thanaroj now, third place on the road as well. Remember, we're talking about a bunch of cars basically that were in position to finish in podium positions yesterday. They would have received the longer pit stops today and then had failures. So shorter pit stop today, they can punch on and try and get that win today.
Well, don't forget also that as a solo driver entry, Chayar, as part of the compensation, they add 4 seconds to the solo driver's pit stop. So that accounts for most of the difference between the 33 and the 92 in terms of their entry or exit time, as in comes Hiraharu to hand over to Yotsarun, and will also relinquish the race lead in the process, as we see here. Oh, he's actually overshot the box. That's not ideal. That's... Well, the thing is I guess with the way the timings work, that might not be all that consequential. Like, I guess in a sense, but there is time to push the car back, get the new driver in still. And see here that you're going to work on the front end of the car, trying to undent that bumper. Bit of tape as well on standby to fix it up. But this here looks to indeed be our effective race lead. Puapon versus Chayar Mwangnam. And they are pretty close together on the road. Now, it looks like in the background, I thought I saw something, a white car, which would be a car out of position. No, it's the YK Motorsports cars, the Thanaroj and Budamont, further back in shot. So, they're your top 4 on corrected order once they all get through the timing line. As at 25 minutes remaining, pit window is now closed, which includes for the 88. They'll be coming out hopefully in a second because their pit time... 1 minute 31, they're right on the money with it. Well, we just want to see, do they come out in the background anywhere? Or maybe further down the order.
I have to keep half an eye on because, yep, there they go. Right, down through to the pit lane exit. And have they met their required pit stop time? Yes, they have. To the front right corner of that car looks a little bit better. So whatever they were doing certainly worked. The big thing, though, is Chayar is now caught all the way up to Fuapon, and there is going to be a battle on for our race lead as they go side by side on the run to turn 4. Good drive from Chayar out of turn 3, pulls up and alongside, still alongside, and then might potentially be all the way down through turn 4. He's going to back out. He's going to look for a crisscross, try and get down the inside, get on the anchors late at turn 5. Will be covered and forced to go the long way round. Does get alongside again, but, you know, long way round, get forced off the asphalt. No, he's given just a little bit of room. So, not quite done. And again, Chayar will swing it back down through the inside at turn 7. Both of them off the circuit now as they go elbows out. Back down to the inside. Fuapon's going to try and steal this one away. Moved all the way to the inside of the racetrack. Finally, Chayar's got that job done. For now, and again deep on the brakes, trying to make sure that he's not vulnerable to a little bit of a dive bomb. One of the ways you can do that, Dan, be quite a fair bit later on the brakes. You'll be slow on the exit, but you do protect against that dive bomb.
Oh yeah, let's watch this lovely shot from turn 12. Speaking of dive bomb, here it comes at the final corner. Inside for Puapon. Can he get this one and then try and get out of the corner? No, bad shift. Out of the final turn, going to allow Chayar to get his nose back in front. They are indeed now officially first and second on your screens. Yeah, they work their way through turn 1. The 92 still ahead of the third. Well, actually now back in front of the 33, I should say, having claimed it on this lap.
And they've been fighting quite aggressively. 2:01 lap times from both of those cars. 57.5 in the background from Thanaroj. So he is starting to make some time. They're costing each other 4 seconds a lap. And if they do that once more, Thanaroj is going to be with them. And, oh, by the way, Budamont is less than a second behind him. So at this pace, there is every chance we may end up with a 4-way fight for the race win. The difficulty, though, Fuapon's got to try and stay with Chayar. Chayar's driving a phenomenal race up front at the moment. It's got the job done. Starts to extend, starts to pull that little bit of a margin, and that might just be the safety net he needs.
Yeah, it would be indeed. See here, though, these couple of laps, the gap was so much bigger before Chayar was really hustling Puapon. Yeah, and that last lap alone, in fact, actually, how's this? For the last of the YK Motorsports cars, they did their personal best laps of the race. Both of them in the 1 minute 57s on that last one. Whereas, yeah, that last lap, that scrapping, cost the top two, 3.5 seconds each. So that's where the gap's gone. The question is now, has that scrapping also cost them in terms of tyre grip and available potential? We'll have to see if the YK Motorsports machines have got something more in reserve. Now they are getting quite close to your top two. As across the line, they both do 57s once again. But so did Race Leon and Chayar. For Puapon, it was definitely a scruffier lap. As there's also got the battle for 5th place between Mitchell and Norarat. And Norarat has the pace, apparently, at this point in time. By a couple of tenths. We'll see if he can make good on that here in the next little bit.
That is the issue, isn't it? And in terms of lap times for this car, 58.2, 58.0 for Norarat in behind. So relatively close together in terms of the timing. It was Fullpon that put in the slow lap. And now he'll have to try and defend because Thanaroj will be with him. He's about a second, 1.2 seconds or so at the start-finish line behind. So we are going to end up the two-way battle for second spot. Whether or not it'll become a three-way battle, that'll depend upon how aggressive Budamont is now. But for the meantime, eyes on this little battle. Norarat's driven back up to Mitchell, taking some time out of him. But just holding station as it currently stands. And that's the battle for second place on the road at the moment. Thanaroj is going to try and get this job done over Philpon, because if he can, and there's enough time left, and indeed there is at the moment, very good chance that he might be able to drive it at Chaya, but he's got to get this done early.
Yep. And also not burn up the car, as Puapon very wide on the exit of turn 9. In the end, it actually ends up being a bit of a... It times it just so that Thanaroj can't get past, and as a result is able to... can't get past through turns 10 and 11. Can he get there at turn 12? Crossover from these two cars under brakes, and the 14 go round the outside. That's a gambit and a half. We'd be left space. No, he's going to have to say, I'm here. You need to make space for me on the outside as they work up towards turn 1. Question is, on the outside, can he swing around, or is he going to have to cut back in line? Nope, he's going to hold the outside, be forced to be given space. Nope, run off the road past the track limits, and then come back on as they run down towards turn number 3. But this will be costing them precious time in the final sector.
Yeah, and it's costing them time to put him on as well in behind as he picks up a massive old draft. And you can see Chayar starting to get smaller out through the windscreen. Budamont tries to send it down the inside. The long way round now for Thanaroj. Can he hang on to that one? They're both a little bit out of shape at the apex. That's going to present an opportunity. Budamont's going to try and slide back down the inside. We'll go 3 wide. Through the middle of turn 3 is their space. They just trade the slightest amount of paint. And Budamont might have just picked both of their pockets, although move's not done yet. We'll get another chance to review this one. And, yep, just enough paint trading. And I tell you what, it's not done yet either. Tyres out and in the grass. And Thanaroj does not want to give this one up yet. This might be his best opportunity. 3 wide on the run down to turn number 4. Someone is going to have to back out. Someone's going to get disappointed. Thanaroj is down the inside. Contact made now. Budamont sent it all the way out and into the dirty stuff. Outside the track boundaries. Finally, Thanaroj is going to get that spot away from Vuapon, but Budamont will feel a little bit aggrieved on the outside, and now he's getting held up once again. So it's all coming to blows with 17 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. And that was elbows just out enough without there being extreme contacts. And Mohammed Nakib will be sitting there saying, see guys, you could have done that a little bit earlier and helped me out a little bit.
Still going on though here now between Puapon and Budamont. One YK Motorsports CLZ's through. Looks like for the 33, not looking to let a second one through. Gets into turn 12, covers the inside on the way into the turn. Can he get enough power out to get a clean run? Well, he'll run wide to, I think, help achieve that goal there as they pick up the pace and make the run towards turn number 1 once again.
Well, still looking for it. And for Fulpon, they've dropped Shannon. Thanaroj is just gone on both of these guys. And we'll keep an eye on when they get down to the end of the first sector time as well, because it'll be interesting to note, can they make some time on Chaya as they run through turn 2? They get on the brakes down here across the sector time. Chaya has lost about 1.5 seconds to Thanaroj in the first sector alone. 28.991. Fulpon very, very quick through that first sector, and that might be the part of the lap that's actually really helping him hang on to the spot as it currently stands. Budamont still looking to find a way through, as it's an all Honda CRZ top 4. First of the Yaris's will be Mitchell back in 5th spot at this point in time, and as he managed to make a little bit of time, he's out to 0.8 of a second over Norrad as well, so that battle's not decided, but still exceptionally close on the racetrack. And have a look at the lap times down, by the way. Fulpon on that most recent lap at 2:01.2. Thanaroj went at 59.7. Budamont 2 minutes flat 0.9. So Mitchell is starting to bring himself back into this battle. If these guys keep fighting, it's going to be a while. He's 5 seconds back behind them. Will be an opportunity. They will not fight for the race lead, those guys, anymore. I think Thanaroj has got the best opportunity to see if he can run down Chaya now.
Yeah, you would think so. As looking at the times here, we'll look to see what this current lap that they're just finishing up now will be. And this might be a good indication of, well, is there going to be a potential scrap for the lead that could brew, or is that going to have to be something that comes as a result of issues or trouble, as the clock is about to strike 15 minutes remaining in the race. It's a 2:06 from Chaya on the race leader, 58.1 from Thanaroj. So watch out. That there is 2.5 seconds gained over the race leader. That could easily be on again. As a quick replay here up to turn 9 is... Oh! No wonder they also did 2-minute lap times.
No way they both survived with that one. And that's going to allow Mitchell to take about 2 seconds out of them again. So that margin's coming down quite significantly as well. It's down under 4 seconds now back between these guys. So the podium's going to be under threat. And I think Race Control saw that driving there for the number 95. And Chanya Boot, he's been given a black and white flag warning for driving conduct with that one. So unless there was some more that we didn't see, or that's the one incident that's sort of worthwhile having a look at. But yeah, that's all going on. And then this is deeper in the field. I think this is the 23 entry of Nadal. Oh, hello.
That's definitely a change since we last had this car on our screens. And not in a good way, of course. It's taken a couple of drillings from the rear, it would suggest, which is definitely making for a bit of work left over on that car. Well, back up to the fight for third. Fulpon trying to hold back Budamont, and he'll do so by crossing over to get a tight run into turn 9. Budamont, though, will happily take the more preferred run into the corner as Narakrit brings the CNC Motorsports KS Racing on the Jazz to the pit lane. Wipers in the upright position rather than down flat on the windscreen there. So I wonder if they need to get those back in place. Although in saying that was one of the cars that has yet 1 second stop and go for being short on their compulsory pit stop. So more likely that's what's up.
Yeah, so they might be feeding back into the lane. Yep, to get that done. And the update to the 13 car was 1 second penalty for insufficient pit stop time. 5 second time penalty as well. It was the 29 car, though. I did see one of the two cars that's already retired. So remember, we saw the two next to Romai Rimna Motorsports cars. They didn't rejoin the race, and that was your race leader at that point in time. It was also one of the cars that was down towards the tail end of the field. Both of those cars never re-emerged from the pit lane, and that happened 38 minutes ago. So within the first 10 minutes of the race, we lost both of those cars, have not resurfaced. The 69 entry also done for the day is in the pit lane for about 6 minutes as it currently stands. Right.
I've just had a look. Did you possibly mean the 29 car, which, as we recorded yesterday, basically went through a world of woes when it came to all possible kinds of penalties that could be issued, it seems, for various pit infringements? Well, yeah, they crossed the white line. Oh, pit entry!
No!
As trouble for the 33 out of turn 5, I think it is. And all of a sudden, in the meantime, up the front of the field, Tanner Roche has approached on the back of Chayar. So hopefully we'll get a replay to see what's happened in the fight for what was third place. But it's on for the race lead, and the door's wide open at turn 9. Tanner Roche gets in front.
Is there issues with the 92? I think we've lost two. I think we've lost both cars, Dan. I think we've lost both. You're kidding me. And it was this time yesterday as well. It was between 15 minutes and 10 minutes to go that we lost 2 cars from the race lead yesterday. We're going to do the same again today. Is the left front tyres down on that car? Or was that the suspension arm dragging on the ground? And here comes Mitchell as well. So not only have we potentially got issues, it's the 95, he got it to the 33.
Oh, contact at turn 5, and Mitchell nearly arrives on the scene, and he has to try and dodge the 33 going about a snail's pace, relatively speaking, to the normal. Oh, that angle makes it look like he's barely has survived with the skin of his teeth. So the 95 could be in trouble with the stewards now as well. So just to add a little something extra there.
Did we just do 50 minutes worth of prep work for this last 10 minutes? Because it's starting to feel that way, Dan. It's starting to feel that this one has just been setting itself up, and Mitchell just about gets up, and he will trade a little bit of paint. They're both red cars, so you won't be able to tell, but maybe one of these cars is a little lighter, and maybe one of them's just a little bit darker as they run on the straight down to turn number 4. They'll bang wheels, they'll bang doors, they bang wing mirrors as well. On the run down to turn 4, they both tip it in. They're both sliding around all over the spot. There is nothing between these guys. Damage to the front end of the 95 car, pinches a brake, and down and through goes the 38 machine. Mitchell finished second on the podium yesterday. He's going to score a boatload of points across the 2 races as they currently stand, and he's now up to 3rd spot. Noah Rat's not done from this one as well, and he's chasing down a 4th place finish. Could it be potentially 2 podiums for across the 2 races for the 25 car as well? He's got some work to do though.
That he will. Now look at the replay. It's, yeah. Even the way we've seen the rear tyre, inside rear tyres lock up at corners like that all weekend so far when they unload, I'm going to think that might have been the left rear. But also really suggests that the 95 was in just way too fast, was never getting the car pulled up for turn 5 in that situation. As there's a long shot of your top 5. Tanner Roche, Chayar, Mitchell, Budamont, and Noah Rat as they go in this order. And most of the action looks to be concentrated on the fight for 3rd, but Chayar at 2-minute 1.0 versus 1-minute 58 for nearly everyone else, as Puapon has to bring the number 33 to the pit lane. It looks like it has indeed got issues.
So I'm just gonna read out. There was a few in all of that. There was a few flags that we needed to just sort of talk about. Car 95 got a black and white flag for driving contact, which was the last one that we really sort of talked about. It's the 33 car. They're gonna have a look and see if they can get this car back out. We did talk about speeding and crossing the white line. The pit lane entry was under investigation. That's now been resolved. There was a whole host of messages that flashed across the screen about track limits warnings, and I'll run through them now. 34, which is sitting a lot further down in the field, not necessarily relevant to the overall race results. It's fallen apart out of 11th spot. 33, unfortunately, now looks like it's going to be out of the running. Was the first warning for exceeding track limits for both of those cars. Another first warning, cars 27, 25, and 15. Well, that was Noah Rat, who's now sits 5th on the road, charging to chase down Budamont. Car 38, first warning, exceeding track limits. Car 95, first warning, exceeding track limits. So he's starting to collect them all like stamps. And then this one has just come through for the 95 car, and Falfong is now out of that car. They did all they can to try and scrap for a podium here today in the 33 machine. 95 machine, drive-through penalty for driving conduct. So it was upgraded. He was given a warning flag, and now it's going to be a drive-through penalty, and he might just lose a spot out on track as well, as Noah Rat's going to slide down the inside, coming to the final corner, and the 95 car will feed off straight away to get that penalty served. And that just changes the entire face of our top 5.
Seems to almost, will it ease the tensions, as it were, in the top 5, or is it going to make for a slightly more dramatic set of circumstances? We'll have to see, because Chayar is still losing ground to Mitchell. This time around, only 1 second versus the near 3 seconds it was previous lap. But Mitchell, very much a good shot at second place now, as that 95 car Budamont will return at the circuit. Just trying to see, can we spot anyone? We couldn't see anyone there coming around the pit exit there. So, you know, might still be out behind between Yotzeroon and Chan and Chicha, I would possibly think. Could be better than that, though.
On the lap timing, and just see where it does indeed feed out. I'm not actually seeing him. It might come out ahead of the 23, you know. Could still be relevant in terms of where it will feed back out. In fact, I think he is actually on track right around where that 23 of Nardole sits on the track. So potential for those two cars to continue going toe-to-toe, which will be for 5th and 6th spots, which would mean effectively where he sits on the timing screen. At the moment could be an interesting one. The 15 machine back into the pit lane as well. So unfortunately for Satavi and Thanawit, who have not had the easiest of races yet again. And now the 92 machine, Chayar has just been ailing in the back half of this race. The tyres, I think, are just starting to be a little bit spent, a little bit secondhand, has drifted out another 2 minutes in terms of his lap times now, as another lap car gets out of the way and down the inside for Mitchell, trying to get that car pulled up and the job done. Does he manage to keep it within the track limits? He will cross the start-finish line. He will get the job done at the line, but from Chayar, is there anything left on board the 92? Can he score some points out of this one? He'll slide back down the inside of turn 1 to try and make it. There's no grip left in the front tyres, and Mitchell just turns back underneath him, gets the run out, might be 2, might lose 2 spots as they run down the back straightaway. Norat's through as well.
Oh my word. The angle Mitchell got his car to get on the rotation for turn 1 there, that looked absurd compared to how Chayar approached the corner. It looked like as if Mitchell was barely in control of the 38 machine. And lo and behold, though, it allows him to get that car rotated, maintain enough speed to not be under threat from Norat, who takes a more conventional run and just happens to get past on the exit of turn number 1. But now the Toyota Gazoo Racing Thailand number 25 is back in 3rd place and charging. Look at it again in a straight line versus the Wing Hing car. We saw this yesterday, Scott. The Wing Hing car and these drivers in that 38, they're good on the brakes, they're good in the corners, but on the long straights, especially that run from turn 3 to turn 4, Norat is absolutely dominating them when it comes to the speed at the end of the straight. The question is that going to be enough to make up for disadvantages elsewhere around the lap to secure the pass? Because we don't have long left in this race. By the time we come around, we're doing just under 2-minute lap times at this stage. It means that the next time around will be the start of the penultimate lap, and when they get to the start-finish line, actually no, pardon me, no, sorry, 3 minutes ago, it's 3 laps to go when they get to the line this time, because of the way the timing will work out. You know, I was thinking like how I know it's not, and I got that completely wrong. So 3 minutes and 9 thereabouts on the times clock as a Tanaraj cross the line. So of course it'll be about 1 minute and 10, 1 minute and 11 when he gets back around, and then that time will expire, and then we'll get the final lap, of course. So let's see with 3 laps what our front runners can do with it.
And the interesting part now is Mitchell got enough left in this tank to really hold off Norat, because Norat is starting to come after him quite hard. And remember, they finished 2nd and 3rd as they currently sit on the road now. Yesterday, it was Nardole and Tanchinok who managed to take the race win, and then those two, as they currently stand, and the 23 machine is locked in battles now with the 95. It was exactly as we said as they come out after serving the drive-through penalty, and Nardole's got an opportunity to go side by side with Budamont on the run down at turn number 3. Battles everywhere you look. And how about Kajonsak? We said he probably needed to finish a race. Well, he sits 7th, and touch wood for him that he will finish this race with 2.5 more laps left to run. Still down the inside, though, for Nardole. Trying to hang on to that one. Round the outside for Budamont. Trying to take that spot away. And the Toyota Altis missing the rear end of that car. I'll pick up some replacements nice and cheaply, you'd imagine. But there'll be some work that'll be to be done to that car post-race. For the meantime, Mitchell still hangs on to second place, but Norarat is coming and has a host of speed at the moment, Dan.
He does. But again, it's only in a couple of spots, it seems. Everywhere else on the lap, Mitchell can match, if not be better. As race control, speaking of updates from them, a black and white flag now for the 25 of Norarat Apavart for exceeding track limits. So he has to be very careful now. Can't afford to push too hard and basically just blow past the white lines, because that'll completely mess things up for him. Potentially put him back down with a time penalty. As there you go, just over a minute on the clock. So this lap and one more left in this race for Thailand Super Compact to also round out the morning's action from the circuit as well to boot. So how's it there from Nora? He's going to go as far wide as he can. He's got to hop the car over the entry curb. And as a result, it really looks like that held up his run through the corner there and hurt him now for the run to turn 3.
Yep, but now we get the thing wound up, and he will have some draft to support the run. See if he can make some speed on the run down to turn number 3. Gets a little bit closer. He's going to swing it to the inside just to force the 38 machine to think about it. The 38 machine picks up a black and white flag now for track limits as well for Mitchell. So there will be no more opportunities of warning. Next time it will be a penalty if he's outside those markings. And Norarat might just apply the pressure that might force that mistake as well. As they run down to turn number 4 once more. Is he close enough? I think he's just a little bit too far back. He'll jink out. And this is your race leader, who will start the run down through the second sector. And the run back to the start-finish line, to be told, he'll have one more lap to go. 8.7 seconds the race lead over Mitchell at the moment. And with how hard those guys are fighting in behind him, that margin's going to open up. Might end up being 10 seconds by the time this race is over.
Yeah, it could be, because his lap times are far and away. Well, not far and away. You can see that Mitchell's not too far behind on one lap pace. And same for Norarat. But yeah, apart from those three, everyone else you can see is down in 2 minutes or slower range. So pace really dropping off, it seems, at anywhere outside the podium. And obviously our fastest times were in the 1 minute 56s. As with the timer at 0, you can see the board there at the start-finish line. This is it, the final lap for Tanner Roche is on for second. Norarat's dive to the inside. And Mitchell, both cars, Norarat barely within track limits. Mitchell definitely way outside trying to defend it. Let's see here. To the turn 1, it will be a 25 in front. But let's see, can the 38 machine come back as, Norarat's wide and out past the track limits. So Mitchell to the inside on the run to turn 3.
Yeah, can he hold it? Can he get down the inside? And this battle's not resolved as well. We're going to have ourselves 2 separate battles on the final lap. Chaya sits a very distant 4th spot and not in a fight at this point in time. But this one's for all the marbles on the podium. 2nd and 3rd spot. Mitchell gets down the inside. Deep enough. Props it up at the apex. Has to correct. There was a mini slide in the middle of the corner. But the drive off the corner is good here, Dan. And now he'll try and drive it away. But here comes Norarat. He's forced to cover. Norarat says to him, pick a side, mate, because I'm coming through. I've got the speed in a straight line, and Norarat's got the spot too. Mitchell's going to have a crack at him when they get down here to turn 5. How much speed are they both going to carry through the curbing at turn number 4? They both pick up a little bit of dust on the inside. The run down to turn 5. The door was open, and Mitchell makes sure that door is sent. Big pinch of the brakes. Keeps it on track. No, he doesn't. And remember, they've both got black flags here. Black and white flags for exceeding track limits. There'll be one more opportunity, you think, down at turn 9. Then it'll be the final corner. Here comes the 38 machine. Norarat's driven superbly to get his way back here. All the fighting that Mitchell had to do cost him time, cost him lead, cost him a little bit of tire life. They're both squirming all over the road. Down at turn 9, he'll dive it in, but Mitchell cannot get there.
Still one more opportunities, he said, Scott. Turn 12, if he can set up the run here through turn 10 and back to 11, we'll see what can happen. But at the front of the field, Tanner Roche has had an uncontested second half of this race, it seems, after Chaya's car seemingly sort of just ran out of pace and puff. He was actually going, as there in the background, the bomb from Mitchell at the final turn. Has he got it done? The crossover from Norarat, side-by-side drag race, they're nose apart. Norarat gets it back. Norarat gets it back by 0.1 0-2-1, I believe, is your interval between second and third place.
No, I think it's going to be 0.120, 0.121120. This is still on though for the next spot on the track as well. This will be for fourth and fifth spot. And Nardol's going to come away with that one. What a race to finish things off for Super Compact. An hour duration. And it comes down to that in the final stage of the race.
Oh my word, an absolute lunge and a half from Mitchell there up the inside. He gave it absolutely everything. And unfortunately, in a sense, was not rewarded thanks to Norat Apavat able to cross him over and get back up the inside for the run to the line. Actually, you are right indeed. Just over 1/10 of a second the margin at the line. I got the order of the numbers all a little crossed up there. 7.96 seconds from first to second, 8.08 from first to third. For those, if you're wondering, you don't have the live timing results up yourself for that one there as well. But man, that's the kind of racing we get to see in this series. And they continue to deliver here in Thailand Super Compact. As we get to watch here for a second, your race winners from race 6, their final race of the weekend. And 6 out of 8 done for the season as well to boot, in case that was any concern at any point here as well. Tanapatra and Tanaroj will be your race winners for YK Motorsports. Norat Apavat to take a well-deserving second there for Twitter Gazoo in Thailand. Mohammed Akib and Mitchell will have to settle for third place in the Wing Hing Motorsports number 38 for that one there today.
Phenomenal race right the way through. Had a whole bunch in it. The 95 machine was in and amongst that battle pack for the podium as well, but driving standards infringements forcing a drive-through penalty will drop him out of contention. They will finish down in 6th spot in behind Tensionok after it's all said and done. That's phenomenal racing right the way through. Cannot believe how good that one was.
I mean, yeah, the fact that that kept going all the way is the stuff that we hope to see. And in this case, we are very happy to have seen here, as it's a very happy YK Motorsports drivers and crew members in and around the car there to get a race win here after, disappointing results. And that number 14, unfortunately, coming unstuck with a tyre failure in race 1 of the weekend, race 5 of the championship yesterday. So definitely happy for that to turn around, as we have here, Mitchell and Mohammed Akib. They'll have to settle for third, as thankfully looks like a bit of a, hopefully, a handshake. Yep, and looks like it's all fairly happy and smiles around there with Norat coming to congratulate them on the racing there at the end. And with that, Scott, there's just going to be some interviews here, which we'll see what we get from those, and then it'll be break time at the track, given that it is coming up or just gone past 12 o'clock at the circuit, which is lunchtime and hot lapping time for those at the venue today or this weekend.
Yeah, and time to celebrate that race and talk us through it as well for all the drivers. You could just see how much they were talking about it and enjoying the racing action over the final few laps, because it was just exciting. You saw the respect that was shown from the Wing Hing guys as well to the Toyota Gazoo Racing Team Thailand. It was just, I said it a little bit here. Were you running out of tyre? Yeah, a little bit over there was basically the level of conversation. I threw everything I had at you, and that's sort of all that was left. I didn't have anything left. And every little margin that they could possibly find left out and on the track, and challenged to the opposition, took it to them every single step of the way. Norat had to drive it hard to get himself back within a reasonable margin of the Wing Hing Motorsports car. Got it back there and got the job done at the final corner on the final lap of the race. They tried to pinch each other, tried to narrow each other up on the run to the line. It didn't work out, but Mitchell threw everything he possibly had at him. And at the end of the day, when that's good enough for third, sometimes you just go, yep, look, we weren't there today. It was the opposition. They had us covered.
Yeah, indeed. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out in that respect, as you point. It's unfortunately a shame we don't get a chance to hear what is being said to the drivers here with Goody. We've just got the ambient audio from the circuit. So we can only sort of wonder what this discussion is. This one might have possibly been English, with these two drivers, I believe, are from Malaysia, which you can definitely see there. I believe it's, Mitchell, he's still got the race suit zipped up, and Mohammed Akib next to him has actually had a chance to at least unstrap his suit a little bit there, as it looks like he's not looking. Nothing else to add there to the conversation with Goody to wrap up the third place podium chat there. And I presume he'll go over and chat to Norat here in a second to continue on the post-race interviews for this one here, Scott. But yeah, that's the conclusion of all of our hot hatch racing from Thailand, at least. There is still TCR Asia later on in the day to round out this weekend, but our racing after the break, it's all fast, furious sprint stuff coming our way with Thailand Super Pickup Division 2, followed by Division 1, and then, as I mentioned, TCR Asia, the third and final race after the break to allow us to come to a close here this weekend. And then, as you said, for a lot of these drivers, this is it until December. To think about that, you go through all of September, October, and November, and half of December as well. Like, that's 14 weeks without racing. And they have to come back. Coming back here, mind you, yes, which in a sense might make it a little easier to, you're coming back to a track you're very much familiar with. But, yeah, there's no more racing for these guys in these Thailand Super Pickup Compact Eco categories to do before then.
Yeah, so I mean, just 2 more races left for the season as well from this circuit. Like you said, 2 hours effectively worth of racing left to finish out the season. It'll be during the winter as well. So track conditions will, closer to the equator. Temperatures aren't going to go up massively. They're not going to come down massively. They're sort of going to stay somewhere relatively in the middle. So,
I mean, that is a good point to make there. Yes, it's somewhat consistent all year round in that respect. Makes life a little easier in terms of acclimatizing on that one there. I think I had a tiny bit of noise in the background, but nothing too crazy there. So nothing to be concerned about. As having chatted to Noravat, chatting now to race winners in Tanner Roj and Tanner Patra from YK Motorsports. And indeed, this has been a strong team in this series. Just not, unfortunately, didn't show yesterday. And I think today also, well, a bit of Budamont and Chanya, but it could have been a strong pair, unfortunately for them. Just some minor mistakes in hard racing from the 95 crew has put them down a little further than they would have liked, and I think we would have expected. So, I guess any closing thoughts here is, I think, well, we might just get highlights to wrap up this morning's action here, Scott, from Thailand Super Compact. And with that, we'll hopefully see here in a second the last little recap. Indeed, here they come. Your highlights from Thailand Super Compact.
And how was the race duration, as once again everyone down on the grid celebrating and looking forward to what was going to be a difficult little race. Chaya, unfortunately, tyres just went away from him deep in the race. Had problems with that car right throughout the duration. A little bit of smoke, but the car did hang on. 4th place finish. He'll take that, given the way the car looked early on and the amount of smoke that was coming from that car. The big key, though, Kajonsak actually able to make sure he got a race finished, and the 24 machine was going to be the one that led the way early. Contact to the 38 machine on the opening couple laps, and would slide through the field, drove his way back through brilliantly. 10 minutes into the race, we started to see smoke from a couple of cars. One of them was Chaya, the other one was the 24 entry. Unfortunately for them, would not resurface, would not finish the race. This battle was the battle that would take place at the head of the field, sort of for the opening stanza of the race. In the meantime, the 92 and 33 would speed off into the distance, and just barely Mohammed Nakib got away with that one. Later on, he'd get another tag, that one right there from the 95, and would be warned for contact a few times throughout the race before finally receiving a drive-through penalty the 3rd time. How the 95 the 69 entry, I believe it was, got away without contact out of that one, we'll never know, because it was that close. 27 car had a few issues, and this was lap traffic as well, as the 92 cut his way back through. The 88 stayed out long in the middle of the race, led a few laps, little bit of damage on the front end of that car that would get cleaned up at the pit stop. They get that car a little bit further straightened back out. This would be the battle for the race lead, 92 versus the 33. Chaya would eventually come out on top, but it would take a lot of scrappy fighting from both combatants. Eventually the job would be done. Slide it back down the inside at the final corner from Philpont, and Chaya would get the drive off and finally get that job done. Then it was on to this battle that would rage until the final laps of the race for second spot on the track. They would fight each other right down to the flag. The 33 machine, the 95, would come to blows a couple of times throughout the duration, resulting in this slide down the inside, which was where the warning would come from for the 95. An aggressive late move led to another amount of contact on the rear end of the 33. 23 of Nardal would end up with some damage. We're not sure 100% where that one come from, but this would be the first time we'd actually noticed the damage. Slide his way down through past the 88 at the final corner. And then this little bit of contact would result with the 95 being awarded a drive-through penalty. How they all got through there without contact, we'll never know. Trading paint the whole way down the straight, the 38 and the 95, the switch back through as Chaya eventually ran out of tyres on the front end of the 92 car. They both would slice their way through. Then Norarat would go in pursuit of the 38 machine. They'd run each other out of room on a number of occasions, just challenge each other to every millimetre of the road and then sometimes beyond it. Eventually the 25 would get back ahead, but Mitchell would slide it back down the inside and have another crack, lock the brakes, run wide in the middle of the final lap, and then this dive bomb at the final corner to try and steal that one away. A big old send from Mitchell. Tried to park it up on the apex, couldn't get the car stopped, pinched Norarat tight, and Norarat would get enough of a drive back to steal P2 at the end, but a successful weekend from both of those cars. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the morning coverage here from the Chang International Circuit. We're going to be back in just over an hour's time for more racing action, starting with the Super Pickup. I believe we'll be starting with the D2 class. We'll move on to the D1 class and TCR Asia. More on that on the second half of the stream. We'll see you all in just over an hour's time.